Black Friday class.
This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. It's a freaking Friday, so you know what that means. I got the party lights on, and since it's a special Black Friday edition of the show, I have a special guest tonight. It's the Media Wench from Echoplex Media. What's going on, Wench?
Oh, nothing. I just decided since I have the day off today, I might as well grace your lovely show with my wenchy trolley presence.
We have been talking about having you on. Now, you've been on the show once before, but you were playing a character. Would you like to take a little peek at what we did earlier in the week?
Yeah.
Should we play a clip of it?
Yeah, sure.
For those that may have not seen the whole thing. So, like, hold on. I'm on the wrong screen here. The Zoom is messing with me. It's not letting me do it. It's not letting me drag it. There we go. So this is a clip from Tuesday's episode of the Troll Patrol. So, like, that was my next question. How were you treated by the other inmates, especially at the big boy jail after you got transferred?
It's really confusing. People want to kick my ass, and then people want to kick the ass of the people who want to kick my ass first, and then people want to kick all their asses for wanting to kick my ass. And I don't think my ass is going to have a good time if something falls out of balance in this whole ass kicking thing. It's not going to be good. No.
So thank you, Wench, for providing the voice for Kyle Rittenhouse during the big interview.
You are more than welcome, sir.
Rape is funny. You can listen to the George Carlin bit. Elmer Fudd raping Daffy Duck is funny. Can you see the comments?
Yeah, I can see the comments.
I don't know what that is all about.
I don't know. I was talking about getting their asses kicked, so I don't know.
Yeah, there was no ass rape in that. That's actually a very big issue that I'm concerned with in terms of the penal system here in America. Yes, I said penal system in reference to jail rape. I think it's a big issue. All right, so several things I want to talk to you about tonight. I want to play several videos for you. We're going to do... I'm glad you haven't seen the Randy Quaid video. This is going to blow your fucking mind.
Honestly, we do so much streaming on the weekends. I try to save a lot of that stuff for the Sunday show or whatever, or for when I watch your stuff. It's like, if I'm going to immerse myself into things that are like for my own streaming purposes, that's like, yeah, I'll go ahead and dunk myself into the den of dirt. But I try to save a lot so I can have like a good, honest reaction.
That's what I thought, Dave. I was like, surely he's played that video already. It's insane. I'm going to play a couple of Randy Quaid videos because... Why the fuck not? A little bit casual here tonight. And this is a good time to play a Randy Quaid video because everybody's getting ready to watch Christmas Vacation. In the run-up to Christmas. By the way, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was fantastic. It was very, very low-key. I just went to my mom's up in Fairfield, and there was just me, her, my two little brothers, and Jerry Monster, and that was it. So it was very, very, very small as compared to like regular years when we'd have like 24 people at the house.
What was your favorite dish you had yesterday?
Oh my God, my mom's. Well, Laura made these. I'm not a sweet potato fan by any means. I just don't like them. I don't know whether it's like people just make them too sweet or whatever, but she made these sweet potatoes and put pralines in it, and I just about ate. I wanted to eat the whole thing.
So it was like a sweet potato casserole.
Yeah.
I love it. I love sweet potatoes. I'm a big fan.
Well, you're a Southern man, so you love the sweet potatoes.
I am. I'm definitely Southern. Does my accent freak you guys out when I come on?
No, not at all. In fact, I had a friend of ours come over the other day, said she's from Texas, and we was talking in the kitchen. You couldn't tell us apart at all. In fact, my Texan is spot on.
Well, here's the thing. It's like around here, people ask me where I'm from because, I don't have the thick drawl that other people have. But when I go up north or something, oh my God. People are like, oh, you're so Southern. I'm like, I am? Shit, they disown me down here. I don't know what you're talking about. So now, you talk about you had a small gathering. Do you know what else was small on Thanksgiving?
I think I do, but I don't want to give it away. But yes, I think I know this one.
Trump's table yesterday when he was giving his speech. I guess this was yesterday. I don't even really know when I've been checked out for a couple of days. So I'm not sure when this happened. I think it was yesterday, possibly. But they were talking about him being at the kiddie table. So thoughts on this?
Yeah, if you're going to have a small mind, you get the small table.
And small hands. I don't know if you were on the stream the other night. I went back and played that video of him dancing. His hands are so small. I didn't realize it.
Jerry Monster played a little bit of this in the car for me, and it says, for some reason, that small desk makes his hands look even smaller.
Now, Twitter has been having a field day with him. And apparently, it looks like he has, especially in this picture right here, it looks like he has a diaper on.
Yeah.
And Diaper Dawn is trending on Twitter.
Yeah, he looks like he's a centaur with no back half. He sits on a chair like he sits on a toilet. Like he'd be sitting on a toilet.
Everything he does is weird. He holds water weird. He sits weird. He dances weird. What the is
Maybe
that?
he's
Just
a reptilian.
You got the David Icke conspiracy going on here now. Like
Maybe
I was
he's
just
been had this whole time.
that's not really Hillary as a lizard person. It was Donald.
No. Maybe he's just like, haha, I'm gonna tell him I'm gonna drain the swamp, but really I'm gonna make the swamp bigger so my scales don't dry out.
And what the hell is going on over? That was a good. What the hell is going on with that microphone? That's not even a boom mic.
Because nobody wants to get that close to him to hold a mic next to him.
Well, I mean,
Typhoid Trump ain't nothing to fuck with.
and then the Christmas tree has no decorations on it.
Because Melania doesn't give a fuck this year. Do I have to do this Christmas shit? Don't make me do this fucking Christmas shit this year. This is some bullshit. These fucking bullshit. These fuckers don't give no fucks about Christmas. They just make fun of me, tell me I'm male or the bride.
I think a story came out in July that she really did when she was like, do I have to do the Christmas stuff this year?
Yeah, well, it was the book that her friend came out with, Melania and me, how I fell out of whatever with Melania Trump. And yeah, that she was talking about, there's audio clips of her talking about how she fucking hates doing the Christmas shit and that American people are hella stupid and like, she's a piece of trash too. She's complicit with the rest of us. In the beginning, it was all hashtag free Melania. She right up in there with it, but she keeps slapping Trump away. She's all pissed now. I love it.
Okay, so I think I asked this the other day. What do you put the odds at that they get divorced right after he's out of office?
2-1, very small. Because it's a sure thing.
Small like his hands.
Yeah, he's gonna need like one of them teeny tiny little pens.
And this is the picture of him yelling at a reporter. Have you seen the clip yet?
Don't talk to me, the president. You don't ever talk to the president like that.
Yeah, that's the clip.
Of the United States. You're rude. You're so rude. You're fake news. Fake news.
You did a fantastic job. You summed it up perfectly, but let's go ahead. We'll watch it here. As soon as this ad plays. I don't have an ad blocker on this browser just because I go to so many news sites. I'd have to be turning it off constantly.
You and I both need to switch to Brave. That way we could just go to Shields down mode.
True, but then I'm still going to have ads on YouTube.
If the Electoral College votes for Joe Biden, will you concede?
Well, if they do, they made a mistake. Because this election was a fraud.
Oh, okay.
Just so you understand, this election was a fraud. I mean, they have Biden beating Obama on Obama's vote in areas that mattered in terms of the election, in swing states. And yet he's losing to Obama.
Well, what does that even mean? What's he talking about?
If I just use a lot of words, it'll confuse you and it'll make me sound smart.
It does confuse me, but it definitely doesn't make him sound smart.
All over the place. But he's beating Obama in swing states, which are the states that mattered for purposes of the election.
I didn't realize Obama was
No, I
running
can't
again.
say that at all. I think
That's what I'm saying. And I'm assuming he's meaning over Obama's 2012 total. But I mean, this is completely different circumstances. And if you're talking about safe states, I mean, people are more likely to vote third party in California, where they knew that their vote, overwhelmingly it's gonna go Democrat. So I don't know if he's comparing California in 2020 to 2012, but hey, like trying to make sense of what the fuck Trump is talking about.
Right, we're like, we're having a.
But let's go ahead. We'll get to the fun part here.
of the election. So, no, I can't say that at all. I think it's a possibility. They're trying to look between you people. Don't talk to me that way. You're just a lightweight. Don't talk to me that way. Don't talk to. I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president.
Not for long, bitch.
54 days, motherfucker.
How many is it?
54.
Oh, is that all? I thought it was 60 something.
Oh, look, I just made your day, just like that.
Yeah. I just asking a question by a reporter is offensive to Trump.
Between you people, don't talk to me that way. You're just a lightweight. Don't talk to me that way. I'm the president.
Okay, that is going to be a drop for me on here, isn't it? Don't talk to me that way.
You're just a lightweight.
Yep. I'm going to have to make that graphic for next week. Okay. Sorry, we'll get through this, I promise.
You're just a lightweight. Don't talk to me that way. I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president that way. All right, I'm going to go with another question. Go ahead.
So if the Electoral College does elect President-elect Joe Biden, are you not going to leave this building?
Just so you, certainly I will. Certainly I will. And you know that.
So that's the question. December 14th. Does he just leave and never come back to the White House? Does he stay? What do you think is going to happen?
December 14th?
That's the day the Electoral College certifies the vote.
Oh. Well, I mean, there's a couple of things that could happen, I guess. Like, one could be he goes and then, or like he's gonna start like pardoning people, like pardon machine go brrr. Like, who's gonna get a full pardon? Like Manafort will get a full pardon. Rick Gates will get a full pardon, right?
He's probably going to pardon people that haven't been convicted of anything yet, right?
Right, like Giuliani. Giuliani will get a full pardon for no reason whatsoever.
Ivanka, Don Jr., Eric.
Yeah, exactly. Just a blanket pardon, like a mushroom cloud of pardons.
Now, are you interested to see, is he going to pardon himself?
See, okay, will he quit 3 days before his thing is over and then get Pence in so Pence can pardon him because he thinks that will be better? But then it doesn't matter because pardons don't work for state crimes. So this.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be the Southern District of New York busting him probably for tax fraud. That's.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be.
They can still throw him in Alcatraz. They should definitely put him on some island somewhere.
Rikers? Is that that's the jail, right?
Fine too, I guess. Yeah, that works.
Alcatraz is shut down, I think, and isn't that off the coast of California?
Yeah. Though it's a tourist attraction. It's there's actually a really super interesting history behind Alcatraz that isn't just the fact that it was a prison that Al Capone was in, right? But there was a Native American. They took it over for like a year occupation. They took it over for like a year or 2 years, something like that, and it was occupied by Native Americans in protest for a while. I think in the mid 70s, maybe the.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
60s. Yeah. It's super interesting. But now, yeah, it's just a tourist attraction. You can take a boat over to it and shit. But maybe they should just not have the tourist attraction anymore and just make a brand new cell, just one, for Trump, and he can be stuck in liberal commie San Francisco all by himself forever. That'd be funny.
Well, but Rikers Island has a very storied past as well.
Yeah.
So that would be the New York jail prison system. I don't know if that's the state prison. I don't know exactly if that's the state jail or if that's a federal
like
prison.
The maximum security prison, I think, in New York. Yeah, is Rikers Island.
But I don't know if that's a federal prison or if it's a state prison.
I'm not sure. Anyway, he won't be going to any of those because he has too many friends in high places. But we're also can be thankful that we'll be getting rid of William Barr too. Throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Indeed.
Barr will be gone. Betsy DeVos will be gone. Stephen Miller will be gone.
Oh God, I can't wait to get rid of Stephen Miller. His own family came out and said he sucks.
Yes. His family, the only reason that he exists is because of immigration.
If that was your family, you would too. That's true, Dave. All right, so are you? I have talked it up so much. Are you ready for this Randy Quaid video?
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm here for it.
First impression, just looking at this.
This is like what a baby sees when they're first born.
It does. It look. I can't even describe this. All right.
Santa?
Here we go.
Fox News daytime ratings have completely collapsed. Weekend daytime, even worse. Very sad to watch this happen. But they forgot the way. They forgot what made them successful. What got them there? They forgot the golden goose. The only difference between the 2016 election and 2020 is Fox News. Fox News daytime ratings have completely collapsed.
So that was looping there. So what's your impression of that?
Santa's back, and this year he's pissed.
Yeah.
Randy Quaid in Not So Silent Night.
God, I've fucked my graphics all up. I'm trying to fix this while on the air here.
That's okay. We all do this thing.
Oh, that's not right. Special guest name or sample guest name. Yay.
It's like top text, bottom text.
Yeah, I fucked this completely up.
I'm the one smoking the jazz grass, sir. You're supposed to be a professional.
I know. I noticed that my social media pushes.
Right now, I would like to give you our advertisement for Linux. Linux and Ubuntu Studio software.
Oh, you have no clue. Dave is constantly on me like, you need to switch to Linux.
Graphics and audio pressing, streaming software, all in one, super easy.
There we go. Now we got your nameplate back.
Trick your cameras. Make them say whatever you want. Graphic design is our passion.
But back to Randy Quaid though. What's your opinion about Randy Quaid? You like him as an actor?
I do. I loved him in Christmas Vacation, obviously. It's Cousin Eddie, and all the National Lampoon's movies, like pre-Van Wilder. They were all very, very good and very, very funny. I'm kind of struggling to remember what else he was in. Because I get him confused with Tom Arnold sometimes.
I can understand that. I see the similarities there.
But he was in fucking Caddyshack. He was the second one.
Oh, I've never seen the second one.
Oh, it's cute. It's good. It's still
really.
Chevy Chase in it.
Oh, it doesn't have Chevy Chase, or it does?
No, it does. It does. It has Chevy Chase in it.
No Bill Murray though, right?
No Bill Murray. No. Yeah, Randy Quaid takes the Bill Murray spot.
Oh, okay. So he's like the groundskeeper.
Yeah,
see, that's the thing. That's the thing I had to fix. I didn't get it fixed. Totally working on this stuff while on the air.
That's fine. It's fine. Fuck it. We're doing it live. We're doing it live.
Oh, that's a fantastic video. Damn it. Keep talking about Randy Quaid. We got another video we're going to watch.
Keep talking about Randy Quaid. God damn, I can't remember any other movies he was in except for those two. I know he's been in a fucking million of them.
Well, okay, so now I'm going to ask you this, and I don't know if you'll know or not, but like he's not allowed in the United States right now, is he?
Is he? Is he not? Was he extradited to somewhere else?
No, he's running from the feds.
He's on the run from the feds for what, taxes?
I think.
Did he pull a Wesley Snipes?
Let's look this up and find out. Of course, the top returns is everybody making fun of his fucking stupid videos. Okay, let's go down to...
Problems with the law. Legal issues.
In 2009, Quaid and his wife were arrested for allegedly defrauding an innkeeper in Santa Barbara by using an invalid credit card to pay a $10,000 bill. The two were released on bail that evening and subsequently paid most of the bill. However, they repeatedly failed to appear in court and warrants were issued for their arrest. They were charged with burglary after spending... Yeah, they were like squatting in a house that they once owned.
Oh, they done hit the drugs and then the rock bottom.
In 2010, Quaid and his wife moved to Vancouver, Canada, where they sought asylum protections under the Canadian Immigration Refugee Protection Act, stating that they feared for their lives in the U.S. They were granted Canadian citizenship in 2011. Randy Stott. Mm-hmm. Arrested in Montreal for not checking as a non-resident. 2014 sued the State Department for revoking their passports. The couple were detained pending an extradition procedure ordered by the state of California. That was voided. That extradition request was voided. And they were released and allowed to remain in Vermont. They vacationed in California in 2017 without incident. And apparently they still live in Vermont, so my bad. I thought they were still on the run.
They tried to seek asylum in the United States because they went full TI.
They tried to seek asylum in Canada because they were running from the feds. All right, so this is his pinned tweet on Twitter right now. And first of all, what is it with the Republicans in chairs? Do you remember the Clint Eastwood thing at the RNC?
No.
You don't remember where he kept talking to a chair as if it was Obama? You don't remember? We might have to look that one up.
Yeah, we may have to look that one up because I don't remember that one. I may have not been so plugged into... I might have been, like, working steadfastly on local lev at the time.
This was probably about the 2012 election. So I want to say it's going into...
Oh, 2012 election? Oh, fuck. Politics was hella boring back then. I didn't give a shit. I lived in California. It was a blue state. Didn't matter. Now it does.
Clint Eastwood was talking to empty chairs, though. But yeah. He sat in the chair backwards. That means he means business. Or he's an 8th grade teacher trying to be cool. I gotta give him props on the beard, though. I dig it. Is he trying to play Santa Claus in a movie?
Yeah. I mean, there's like I like that shirt that has the levels of beard, where it's like mountain manish, wizardly, Santa Claus.
I mean, you can tell he is very, very serious. Look at those eyes.
Yeah.
Is this the way America goes? From George Washington to George Soros? Ocean swipe with foam to a socialist swap? Is this the way America goes? Is this really our future? Wake up, you...
Now, do you think he might be angling for a pardon from Trump?
He lives in Canada.
No, he's in Vermont now.
Oh, Vermont. Oh, okay. Not Vancouver. Hi. I know geography.
Maybe in a different... Well, no, that was a whole lot of shit we just went through on the Wikipedia. But they ended up in Vermont.
Okay, so is he trying to seek a pardon from Trump? I mean, why not at this point?
Because I'm assuming there's probably some tax evasion or something going on.
Something. I mean, maybe I should try to seek a pardon from Trump. I haven't done anything, but it'd be funny.
All right, back to this video.
Sleeping giant. The Lilliputians have tied you down with their fantastic dreams of icebergs melting into dinosaurs and train tracks stretching across the Pacific waters. Trump trumpets reveille. And it's time to heed the call. The framers have been framed. The people disarmed. Conservative voices are silenced in the schools by anarchists left unmasked. Merry Christmas is greeted cheerlessly, even condemned. Is this how America goes? To a nation of godless fanatics? In the shadows of big tech and empty condos, homeless citizens fill the streets, wallowing in their own filth. Well,
I'm really surprised he didn't go on like the Hollywood elites and shit.
Dude, like, if we have a bunch of homeless people in the streets and a bunch of empty condos, I think that we should just put the homeless people in the empty condos.
That's socialism. You can't do that. I don't know why. I don't know what the excuse is. Fucking commie. You're taking that Soros money, aren't you?
How do you think I can afford such a glorious soundboard?
All right. Let's finish this off.
Sedates us with opiates. The food industry poisons our insides. And business organizations kowtow to communist marching orders.
Whoa! Business organizations kowtow to communist marching orders. You know what's wrong with that, right?
Because business communists and wait a minute.
And that's another thing, is all of a sudden the right is anti-business now, or at least the common people, the voters.
I'm stuck on the business communist portion. I can't even get to the whole rest.
Yes. Business communists, they like diametrically opposed. Those are two different things. But apparently the corporations are communist now.
I didn't do research on that part.
Oh, is that Betty Washam? Is that who that is?
Betty Washam, yeah. Betty Washam.
Please, my viewers might not be familiar. Would you like to explain who she is?
Oh, Betty Washam is this journalist and whatever. She's a big old QAnon believer. Go to Echoplex Media on YouTube, not right now, but later. And look up Media Wench versus Betty Washam. You'll find out everything you need to know.
Oh, that was so fantastic. I enjoyed that so much.
Oh, anything on our YouTube that is Media Wench versus, that has passed the Dave finds this hilarious test, and it's usually pretty fucking good.
Now, you mentioned the Q. You saw what was going on my page the other day, right?
Yeah. I went through and read all that. That was Qest.
You're telling me a zombie started Q.
Okay.
Zombie JFK Junior is Q. This was after I posted a picture of the dude that is the 4chan guy. What's his name?
Parrish?
Watkins, yeah, Jim Watkins. There you go. That is more than likely who is Q. I posted a picture of him looking like the pedo he is.
Yeah.
These people are like, no! JFK Junior is Q. I know, I was wondering if you were still in the chat. I was like, Dave will know that. But like this whole thing with this guy. Did you see the update here? I do masturbate on occasion. I called him a wanker because he was British. So I called him a wanker because, make him feel at home, right?
When in Rome.
But like, he goes on, and like I started talking to him because he said like, I like to listen. I'm like, well, listen to me, dude. And he did for a little bit. And I started explaining to him, like, when you believe that people are evil in their souls, like the woman on the thread said, like, you can justify all kinds of atrocities. It's like, it's what the Nazi, and he was with me for a while. And then I'm like, hey, dude, I'm going to go smoke some pot and play some video games. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And this is the messages he sent me after. And, look, let's be kind. Imagine that. I'm wrong, so I got fooled. How you going to react? Please be blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. Then he ends up, you know, he got, because the thing is, I published the message. I put the message on my thread about him asking me what I did for sex and how he had a girl that was 16 years younger than him or something. Like, I published that on my thread. It was like, oh, look at this creep. And then he's like, I live an honest life. You did no harm. However, you didn't know that. So I don't know until tomorrow. And then he's like, comes back like an hour later. It's like, I deleted the post. You're pathetic. Trump won. I'm blocking you. What? Person is not available right now. I did my best to try to get him on the show. Because I thought he'd be fun. Because he said he was a stand-up comedian. So like, hey, I figured you'd want to come on and promote your shit.
Yeah. So try and say something that's funny. And they're like, oh, I don't know anything that's funny.
Oh, they said plenty of shit that was funny, but it was unintentional.
Right, just like not the way they thought funny was supposed to be funny.
Laughing at them and not with them. All right, so a little breaking news before we came on the air. Did you know that Trump... Okay, first of all, he lost the appeal. There was he bragged about the one court case in Pennsylvania where they put the certification on hold. I talked about it on Wednesday. Well, he lost that case.
Good.
So loses the appeal. It was a 3-judge panel. One was appointed by Trump, and the other 2 were appointed by George W. Bush. All 3 Republicans.
Well, Republican appointed.
Yes. Republican appointed, so more than likely they swing Republican. Thank you for correcting me on that. Said the Trump's campaign's claims have no merit. They didn't even claim fraud.
They're just like, meh.
Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, had argued on behalf of the Trump campaign in the case, spreading unproven claims of wise. And that's another thing. The judge smacked him down. Mm-hmm. Calling an election unfair does not make it so. Charges require specific allegations and then proof. We have neither here. Now you can show this to those QAnon fucks, and they still won't accept it. They call it fake news. And that's another thing. The Dominic dude, I posted the court documents. He kept saying Trump won, Trump won. I'm like, Trump's lawyers aren't even claiming that there was fraud. But now, here's the fun part. Do you remember how Trump had agreed to pay $3 million for a recount in Wisconsin?
Yes.
Okay, I think that was last week. We got the results just a few minutes ago.
Ooh.
Milwaukee County presidential recount wraps up with Biden adding to his margin over Trump.
Yep. No recount that has ever happened in the history of elections in the United States has ever moved an election more than like 380 votes.
But just like, Biden gained 257 votes. Trump added 125.
I mean, whenever Trump said you guys are going to get sick of winning, I think he meant it like the reverse way, like on himself, because we never get sick of watching him lose these things over and over and over and over again. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It is. Now, have you been to the Trump 2024 website yet? Oh, Jesus. Is there really one? Is it official? Of course. Mm-hmm. Well, no, I mean, is it an official campaign website? So we're going to go Trump2024.com. This is the first time I've tried it. Let's see. Aw. Says it can't be displayed. This shit. Because I don't trust stuff. I'm just like, what is this? Let's go to the... I was hoping we could look at it for ourselves, but... Woo! Wanting us to get down on a Friday night. Yeah.
Comedians buy Trump 2024 website domain to call president a loser.
Good shit.
Oh, it's Donald J. Trump 2024.
Oh, fuck.
Donald J. Trump 2024. I lost the election 2020.
So both of them are?
Well, no, I did. The Trump 2024 didn't go anywhere. That link was dead.
That's great. So no, there isn't one. That's fantastic.
But Donald J. Trump 2024. Trump lost. Trump is a loser. Trump lost the election. Loser, loser. Such a loser. What a loser.
That's amazing. That's perfect. That's exactly what it needs. No, I don't think that he'll run in 2024. I think that he'll say that he's going to run in 2024 so he can grift, and then cut and run like Jim Lee.
I don't know that he'll be in the country. Honestly, I think he leaves before January 20th and doesn't come back. Now, it's very enticing, though, that he wants to come back and do the tours and keep holding MAGA rallies, because I'm sure they are very profitable. But the thing that...
People want money from him. There's, like, nowhere to go.
That's what I was getting ready to point out, is, like, cities don't want to host his rallies anymore, and if he's not the president or running for president, like, he's going to have to pay for that shit out of his own pocket. He's going to have to rent the arenas and everything.
Well, he doesn't have any money. He owes like $500 million to somebody in China, personal loans or whatever. They are personally guaranteed loans. So that is all assets. That's homes. That's like 100% asset forfeiture type of loan.
Well, the Scottish government is talking about repossessing his assets.
Yeah. So that's the golf course and hotel and stuff that he has over there that he used as a for the military to stay at whenever they were in the area, and charged them full price and in some cases over market price, and then had all our jets fuel up at a local airport so it wouldn't go out of business because it's the closest one to his Scottish golf course.
They were charging the Secret Service $6 for a bottle of water. It's all been just a gigantic scam, but now he is making moves to do something that would be highly detrimental to us as a country. And it seems that the Israeli army is preparing for him to attack Iran in his final days. So now that is incredibly scary.
Because what's his fuck is all snuggling up over there in Jerusalem.
Netanyahu?
Pompeo?
Oh, yeah, Mike Pompeo. That religious asshole. And that's what it's all about. They are trying to bring Jeebus back with their whole Israeli policy. But I don't know what's been going on with Netanyahu lately. That motherfucker is corrupt as shit, and the Israeli government, I thought, had indicted him, but somehow he's still the president. Or dictator. I don't know. He's been president for 20 years, hasn't he?
Like, I need to get with Dylan and get more. I need Dylan Burns to give me like the foreign policy rundown and just cram it all into my face.
Dylan, get on that.
I need like a master class in foreign policy from Dylan Burns. I feel like he could deliver it in a way that I will be able to soak it up like a sponge.
But now, according to this preacher, our military is going to take a hard left turn under Biden, and that Joe Biden's military will be a transgender atheist army for the Antichrist.
Sounds like a fucking party.
That's what I thought. I'll join that army.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I'm not.
You get to do psychedelic mushrooms for medicinal purposes.
Hey, if you move to Oregon, you can do it all the time.
That's right.
That's what I've got a friend in Oregon. And I've been thinking about moving up there with her. I don't like the cold though. She was messaging me the other day about how it snowed and it was 30 degrees. I'm like, it's 67, 68 degrees here. I got the windows open. Feels fantastic.
Well, there's choice apartments available in several friends' homes here out in San Jose. I'm not saying. You want to roll into Echoplex? Roll into Echoplex.
Hey, we've been talking about it. I think we're supposed to have a meeting tomorrow, aren't we?
You need out of cousin fuck county, sir.
You say that, but like I have a really nice apartment that would be fucking $2,000 any other city.
I also call Shasta County cousin fuck county. It's just where it's like hard red.
I am in cousin fuck county though. But according to this dude, seriously, Sparkles and I went out to dinner one time, like not in this like. Our little area is the historic district. It's very hippie. It's very progressive. You don't see Trump signs in our area, but you go just a few miles out, you're in the county. I saw an honest-to-God Nazi. I've never seen one in my life before.
Ooh.
Had the eagle thing on the back of his neck. Had the Iron Cross on his arm. I'm like, Sparkles, that's a Nazi, isn't it? It's like, yes, it is. Like, let's not go out in the county anymore. And also what is there's the Nazi the Stormfront, right? It's a magazine and it's a website. If Dave's still in here, he'll know. Stormfront, I think, is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's based like an hour away from me.
My high school boyfriend's mom used to be the editor-in-chief of the NorCal Eagle. And that's the big, used to be the big Northern California militia newspaper. And they were like, yeah, they were militant. They had like a room the size of my studio full of guns. Full. You're like, why? There's two of you. What, are you gonna grow octopus arms all of a sudden?
You mentioned guns, and we're going to get to that here in a little bit. And that's a lot of people think that California is this monolith. It's all Hollywood and shit, and it's not. There are a lot of rural areas in California, right?
And they're very red. They're deep red. And it's kind of funny because it's like most of them are from California. They just never get out of these little pockets because even though California is a very densely populated, it's a very populated state, some of these areas up in the northern parts and even in central California, they're just very sparse. And big cities up there are considered like 90,000 people. But they're 3 hours from everything else. 3 hours from the Bay Area, 3 hours from Reno, 3 hours from Eureka, like 4 hours, maybe 6 hours from Portland. And there isn't anything really big in between Redding and Portland except for like Medford. And they just swim around in their own little tide pools of just non-diverseness and no industry, and they just don't understand that the system up there is built for them to survive off of each other just by like circulating the same money around in retail and being a consumer. And then when you take those things away, the whole economy crashes, and then all of a sudden it's the Democrats' fault. It's like, no.
So damn Democrats in Sacramento.
And Sacramento doesn't even have the population of like Fremont. You know, it's another small town.
Now that's another thing. Let me ask you about this, because like obviously I brought up the point that like California is like 40% Republican. Or 30-something%. Like, it's a large percentage. That's one of the reasons why I'm so for abolishing the Electoral College. Like, those people in California aren't represented anyway. And that's what people want to bring it up. Oh, I don't want California to elect the president. I'm like, there are plenty of Republicans in California that aren't represented. Just like there's liberals like me, or leftists, in Alabama that aren't represented. But like, what would you think about the idea of splitting California into 3 different states?
I mean, it's not like it's going to make anything more lopsided. They're just going to get all pissed off about, oh, well, this portion of California doesn't want to have San Francisco in it. Because in San Francisco and the Bay Area is still considered part of Northern California. Unless that's I think that's on the 2-state split. On the 3-state split, I think it's right next to, I don't remember whether it takes or doesn't take Sacramento. But it splits it right there, and the Bay Area is part of Central California, and then you have the Southern California end. But I think that would also just kind of tip, like, the central portion of Central California would be like where it's at. I'm just saying, because we got the Port of Oakland, and the Port of Oakland brings in like $21 billion worth of shit on a day. As far as like imports and stuff. That's just one thing. Plus all the tech. Silicon Valley, forget about it. What do you got in LA? Hollywood, A-Port. Okay. Have fun with that.
Yeah, I fucked my graphics completely up again. Yeah. Sorry. I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying.
That's okay. I can sit here and ramble while you're trying to figure stuff out. That's great. This works.
This is my second time having a guest. I had producer Dave from Echoplex on probably a month or two ago. It's before the election. And we couldn't take calls. We couldn't do anything like that. By the way, we can take calls tonight. 917-830-4359. We can hop in the Discord with us if you got questions for the Media Wench. So that's why this is our first time getting all this set up. Also, my graphics have gotten way more complicated since then.
The kitty cat wants them.
Oh, your kitty cat wants in?
Come on, Damon. Yeah.
You run a good operation over there. Producer Dave, you are an excellent producer. I'm still working out the bugs, though. You guys have been at it a lot longer than I have. I'm coming from the world of... Do what?
We started out as an audio-only podcast back in 2015. So that was the main focus was always to have everything sound as good as possible. Dave is an audiophile because he's a DJ, so everything has to sound like perfect, like perfect. Otherwise, he just won't fuck with it at all. So when it
I listened to the Honey Badger interview, and he's like, guys, their audio sounds horrible, and like it did.
Yeah. Dave says our shit sounds like a drunk TV station. It does. Yeah, when everything is locked and loaded, and yeah, everything looks and sounds fucking fantastic. But when we added video, our video was just the add-on. It was not the focus. But when people would come in our chat and our stream and they'd be like, well, your video looks like shit, but your audio is fucking amazing. That was how we got away with it for so long. And then Dave just like, he always has to be on the bleeding edge of every type of technology. So he got in, and once that got dialed in, it did take a while, but once it got dialed in, yeah.
See, I feel pretty proud of myself to get this all up and running in a few months and it look as good as it does. And only have like...
You did great.
Shit, well, I have been doing this for fucking years. All right. You ready for another story?
Yep, let's do it.
Do you remember the Hunter Biden laptop story?
Of course. Which one? There's several different versions. There's like the Adrian Curry version. There's the Betty Washam version. There's the Tucker Carlson version.
Well, I don't know what you mean, but I was just referencing the story in general. You remember that story?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, we've had a new update. Have you heard the new update?
I have not.
The shop where the laptop was supposedly discovered has closed down now. Doesn't seem sketchy at all, does it?
No.
Weeks later, the computer repairman, John Paul Mac Isaac, Never trust a man with 4 fucking names. Shuttered his Trolley Square shop. And a neighbor says he's just packed up and left town. It's now the Antifa headquarters. First impressions, what do you think?
They probably were getting harassed so much they probably had to close up shop. And
that was the excuse they gave. But who do you think they were getting harassed by?
QAnon believers.
Exactly. I don't think it was leftists fucking harassing them.
It was QAnon assholes.
And they were probably wondering why they didn't do it. Why didn't you expose this earlier? Why blah, blah, blah. Asking just stupid ass questions, right?
Yeah. You have copies. We know you have copies.
He declined to describe the nature of the conversation with the FBI. Yeah, this just keeps getting stranger. And you notice how it disappeared. After the election, nobody's mentioning it anymore. No more Tucker Carlson. Tucker's on to something else now.
It's still making its way around the deeper derposphere, like maybe several layers under the regular QAnon stuff.
The QAnon foot soldiers are absolutely still like Hunter Biden's laptop, crackhead pedophile.
Yeah, but it's like Hunter Biden didn't win an election or run for anything like that, so.
Oh, I absolutely want him to be the ambassador to Ukraine. Just because I'm petty.
Right.
And it's what a Trump supporter would do.
Yeah, I mean the crazy Avon lady is on about Hunter took $5 million from the mayors of Russia's wife or some shit, and like
I hadn't even heard that one.
Can't remember where that came up first. Oh, that was during a Betty Washam stream. One of these days, you and I need to go over some Betty Washam stuff on just like randomly. We can take you through like the roller coaster of the cast of characters.
Every time I come on Echoplex, it's like, what? It's like my catchphrase over there. It's like, what? You guys play me somebody I've never heard of, and I'm always like, what? It was Jelly Juice the last time.
Oh, fucking A. Cosplay biologist.
And if you didn't know anything, like, she portrays herself as she knows what she's doing. She talks very confidently.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't play the clip of her and what's his name, Jeff Holiday, on Dr. Phil. Going.
Oh yeah, Dr. Phil, they'll get you taken down.
Yeah, you get a takedown for that one, but basically this dude Jeff Holiday had called because he's like a real big advocate against Jelly Juice because her protocol.
The salt cabbage.
The salt cabbage. Basically, took this one dude from. I mean, he already had like stage 4 terminal cancer, but he started following her protocol and stopped doing his chemo, and basically fucking died very, very quickly and very, very painfully. So there's a couple of people who are very strong advocates against Jelly Juice. Jeff Holiday being one of them. So he's the one that ended up getting her on Dr. Phil. And it's certainly a good portion to watch if you want to understand really quickly what Jelly Juice is about.
Well, usually I'm against Dr. Phil, but like if he's taking down people like Jelly Juice, I'm behind that.
He did not give her much credulity at all. No, he was not a fan. Because it's literally the recipe is a gallon of water, a head of cabbage, and 60 grams of fucking salt. You throw that in a blender, put it in a jar in the back of your fridge for 3 days, pull the fucking mold carpet off the top of it, and drink it. And it will make you regrow limbs and get rid of your cancer and cure the gag.
If even Beauty Pie is ragging on Jelly Juice, then that's something.
Oh shit.
PewDiePie will platform any kind of bullshit.
Oof.
Oof.
Oof.
But the funniest thing about the whole Jilly Juice when I YouTubed her was that the majority of the videos were making fun of Jilly Juice. We're talking videos that had millions of views, and Jilly Juice's own videos have, you know, a couple hundred people watching them, tops.
Yeah, not many.
So it's just she's just there to be ragged on pretty much. But hey, I forgot earlier we didn't play the Clint Eastwood thing. Do you want to watch the Clint Eastwood with the chair?
Yes.
This is from the RNC 2012.
Managing your projects should feel.
Show me
I will-
Grandpa Clint Eastwood.
About to speak.
Ugh.
Shoo. Ugh.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Now remember, he's speaking on behalf of fucking Mitt Romney, as they're nominating Mitt Romney at the 2012 RNC.
Very much. Thank you. Save a little for Mitt. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what's a movie tradesman doing out here? You know, they're all left-wingers out there, left of Lenin. At least that's what people think, but that's not really the case. There's a lot of conservative people, a lot of moderate people, Republicans, Democrats, and
Scott Baio,
it's just the conservative
Randy Quaid,
nature of the word itself.
John Voight.
A little more close to the vest, and they don't go around hot dogging it. So. But they're there. Believe me, they're there. And I just...
he's not all there.
Some of them around town. I saw John Voight. There's a lot of people around here in town. John's here, Academy Award winner.
By the way, are you a Seinfeld fan?
Yes, to an extent.
Well, I watched the Thanksgiving episode of Seinfeld last night, the mom and pop store, which is where John Voight bites Kramer on the arm. I almost yanked a piece of that where they're talking about John Voight and, you know, like Jerry is comparing him to Liam Neeson. Well, he's not Liam Neeson. You believe it if it's John Voight. Anyway, let's get to the part where he talks about the chair.
Terrific guy. And these people are all like-minded, like all of us. So I've got Mr. Obama sitting here, and he's. I just was going to ask him a couple questions, but you know, about. I remember 3.5 years ago when Mr. Obama won the election, and though I wasn't a big supporter, I was watching that night when he was having that thing, and they were talking about hope and change, and they were talking
that thing.
About, yes, we can, and it was dark and it was outdoors and it was nice, and people were lighting candles, and they were saying, you know, and I just thought this is great. I mean, everybody's crying. Oprah was crying, and I was even crying.
Clint couldn't kick the shit out of anybody. Look at him; he's barely there. And this is 8 years later.
There's
Is
20
he even still alive?
Unemployed people in this country. And
I'd take that bet.
It's something to cry for, because...
And he'd get his ass kicked by a man that wears sparkly fingernail polish.
And we haven't done enough.
I'd beat the fuck out of that old man.
The administration hasn't done enough to cure that. And whatever interest they have is not strong enough. And I think possibly now it may be time for somebody else to come along and solve the problem.
Talk to the chair, Clint. Oh, shit.
Real quick, let me give you.
Yeah, I'll get that other browser.
He's just
But
like,
yeah.
Like, just be the mayor of Carmel and shush.
Is he the mayor somewhere?
He used to be the mayor of Carmel, yeah. Which is
I did not know that. Mm-hmm. Do you think he had bigger aspirations and he just couldn't go anywhere?
I don't know. I don't know if he ever ran for any other office or not. I'm not sure. But I mean, it's not. Carmel is just like rich old white people. I mean, it's not like it's hard to govern Carmel.
And does he sit on his front porch
with a gun?
Like yeah, with a gun, talking about how the neighborhood's changing.
Right.
I am definitely not a glam rocker, though I will admit, Dee Snider is a fucking badass. He has won me over. As if the whole him going in front of Congress and letting them, because I'm a huge Frank Zappa fan, and Frank Zappa really let Congress have it over the whole the PMRC. Was that what it's called? You know what I'm talking about, Wench? When they had to
start putting the labels on stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I could kick Frank Zappa's ass, that's for sure. But no, the memes from the Clint Eastwood thing were hilarious. Because I remember one of them where it's him talking to the chair. It's like, goddamn Democrats, they elected a damn chair. So let me ask you a question. Did you do any Black Friday shopping today?
Hell no. I was in retail for 4 years. Black Friday, no thank you.
Well, and it's not like there are actual Black Friday deals, right? They mark shit up and then act like there's a sale. It's all smoke and mirrors, correct?
Yeah, they're trying to get you to buy the protection programs on the items. Really, that's how they get their margins anyway. I worked in an electronics store, so electronics margins are very small as it is. All the money that they make are in the services.
So now, what would you think if I told you that the Amazon workers staged a coordinated Black Friday protest in 15 countries today?
I would say seize the means of production, comrades.
Fuck yeah! You want to watch some Black Friday videos?
Let's do it. What do we got? There's no trampling of anybody. You know, one thing we're not going to hear about this year is anybody getting trampled at a Walmart for a fucking piece of shit fucking Vizio television. That's what we're not going to hear about this year.
So I was asked what's my favorite Zappa song that has lyrics, obviously, because he has Zappa was not a staunch capitalist. My favorite Zappa song would be Jesus Thinks You're a Jerk, because if you go and listen to it, he predicted everything that is happening right now with the Republican Party. I highly recommend that song. And that was in 1986, I believe. And literally, he's talking about the evangelical takeover of the Republican Party. And all... It is really like he looked into the fucking future. Mm. But now, you're right. I don't think we're going to get any fun videos of people getting trampled. I'm sorry to call that fun.
Black Friday traditionally kicks off the holiday shopping season with big sales. Of course, a crush of customers usually, but hard.
And that's what I went looking for, so that you and I could talk about it. But like, this is about all I could find. So let's see what exactly happened this morning. I haven't even watched this yet.
Customers will still line up for deals, just in different ways because of the pandemic. CBS 2's Christina Fan is live in Herald Square with more on Black Friday. Definitely not traditional this year, Christina.
Not traditional at all. In fact, the doors to Macy's opened just a few minutes ago, and as you can see, there were just not very many people. That the line is already gone. It's a lot different from previous years.
Oh, well, this is in New York, where they're actually taking the pandemic seriously, because they all fucking know people that died in the spring. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I got another video from Miami, so maybe we'll see a little bit different take there. This is in the morning. The video I've got from Miami was from like the 5 o'clock news just a couple hours ago.
This time we usually roll the video, show you that adrenaline packing,
That's what I was looking for.
Into the stores, none of that this year. A very orderly procession inside, and again, as you can see, most people are already inside.
2, 1. The mob dashes, long lines, and mayhem that traditionally surround Black Friday gone this year. COVID-19 has canceled much of 2020, and it's also affecting the high holy days of American shopping.
We were actually just saying, wow, it's Thanksgiving week and we're in the store and there was like hardly anybody in there, which is probably good.
These days, holiday shopping is finding its own new normal. For the first time in decades.
Which is probably good. What kind of mask did he have on anyway?
She's got a clip on it, so whenever she takes it off, it'll just like hang or whatever. That's pretty cool. He's got one of those like t-shirt sleeve kind.
Isn't that a very porous material?
Yeah, that's like, it's just like t-shirt material. I mean, it's better than nothing, right?
It is. I mean, because a lot of people don't understand this. Like, a mask is just like you spread the virus through droplets and shit. And it'll also, one of the things that I didn't know early on in this was that how sick you get depends on the amount of viral load that you get. So wearing a mask cuts down on the viral load that would be transmitted, both the wearer and the wearee. So, yeah. He's got some kind of strap around the ears. He's like, this is really ingenious. I like what she's done here. That's like a glasses holder thing.
Exactly.
Week and we're in the store and there was like
wearing the Grateful Dead t-shirt,
in there, which is probably good.
These days, holiday shopping is finding its own new normal. For the first time in decades, Walmart and other major retailers went dark Thanksgiving Day. At Macy's,
and thank God for that. Now,
we saw Thursday were
what's your opinion? Do you think that will continue? Will we see them go dark next year, or is this just a pandemic thing?
As somebody who did work in an electronics store during Black Friday and watched it year after year get earlier and earlier and earlier, all the way up until it started to reach 7 or 6 p.m. on Thanksgiving, and people camping out in front of the store literally with tents and shit for like 7 or 10 days prior to the fucking shit happening. I am very, very happy that they finally got a Thanksgiving off.
But it's not going to continue, is it?
I don't think it's gonna be fashionable. I just think that it's gonna fall out of fashion to be like, this capitalist is just not going to be cool anymore.
Well, like with our generations coming up and the baby boomers dying off, I hope that is a mindset that takes hold. But I don't have hope.
Faith in that?
No, I don't. But I am happy that did occur this year at least.
families checking out holiday window displays. Stores have been spreading out their deals to help curtail.
Kiddo, you don't love capitalism. Everything you hate about this country is capitalism. Every single thing. I promise you. Pretending like they hate capitalism. The Gen Z, the younger millennials, people younger than me, they do kind of have a disdain for capitalism.
Oh, he's
okay.
He's talking to the other guy.
Yeah, and like I am not anti-capitalist. I explained this on the show, what was it, Wednesday? Yes, everything you hate about America is due to capitalism. Every single thing. Like, I'll use the media, for example. People are constantly complaining about how the media is sensationalizing shit. That's capitalism. Absolutely. Like, the shit they share out on Facebook is just whatever gets the most fucking clicks. It's what, they don't report the real news because they can't fucking upset their advertisers. Because that's how they have to make their money. Everything about America that you hate is capitalism. I'm going to do a video series very soon. Everything that you hate is capitalism. Because people put the blame in the wrong place.
Right.
Like, especially when I'm talking to baby boomers. They're like, oh, the government, blah, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you're upset that billionaires are buying politicians. It's the result of capitalism. And capitalism seeping into our politics. And even the way politicians act and have to raise money. Like, one of the biggest failures of the DNC is that they are in this old mindset that they have to have all their consultants. It's a way to make money with their consultants and ad buys on TV. AOC pointed this out. TV ads do not work. But yet the DNC keeps going for it.
Right. Now, I think that the DNC learned a lot by this particular election, though, that they can do smaller events and hype them up more and get that free news coverage versus actually having to buy time on TV.
Okay, so if TV ads don't work, why would any company purchase them? Okay, TV ads don't work for politicians. That's what I was specifically saying, but it's because they have people that are making money off of these ads. They have consultants that are taking a cut of that campaign money. No, digital advertising works way better than traditional TV ads, but consultants don't get a fucking cut off of like hiring somebody like me to do digital advertising for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoy myself. Call in and talk to us or Discord. If you want to call in, 917-830-4359. Dave, give him the Discord link. I just said Discord.
I'm going simultaneously on the internet, my phone number. Whatever. It's just phone number.
You can
Nobody cares about your phone number.
hop in our Discord right now.
Yeah.
I've got Discord up. I'm waiting on you, brother.
But yeah, I just think that that the overt overconsumption of high-priced and reckless goods is gonna kind of become unfashionable.
I hope so. But they have focus grouped this shit down to like the penny. So if they think they can make more money by opening up at 6 o'clock on a Thanksgiving, I'm sure they've looked at it with the opportunity cost. How much is it going to cost us to be open versus how much we can possibly make? Down to the fucking penny. And if they can make any sort of margin, they will do it. And that's the problem with capitalism. But as I said the other day when somebody was asking me about this, like, I'm not anti-capitalism. I just think certain industries need the profit motive taken out of them, such as the medical industry. Why anybody would want to... looks like he's come in. Hey, Yim, are you there?
How's it going, buddy?
Oh, it's going great. How's it going with you? Media Wench, can you hear him?
I have to turn you off on Twitch.
Oh, yeah, there will be a delay and an echo there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had asked me to come on, so here I am. How are you tonight, buddy?
I'm great. How about yourself? Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it was good. Had a good time. I had to be a little bit quiet because my son is sleeping upstairs, so hope you understand that.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I'm not going to yell at you, man. People think I'm kind of mean. I'm not.
Cool. So you said earlier that you're a big Frank Zappa fan?
Yeah. Frank Zappa has nothing to do with this. Let's talk about socialism, capitalism, blah blah blah blah blah.
Sure.
Wait, first of all,
I'll let you lead the discussion.
All right, you are aware that all economies are mixed economies, right? I always have to kind of establish this with people.
Yeah. If I'm not super technical on politics, so if economic system. So if you mean by that they're a mix of capitalism and socialism, then yes, I would agree with you.
Well, there's no agreeing. That's just a fact.
I'm agreeing with you that all are mixed economies. So we agree that is a fact.
There's nothing to agree on. It's just a statement of fact.
Okay. All right. It seems like you're starting out abrasive right from the get-go, which is strange to me, but continue.
I'm not abrasive. I like to be pedantic about things, right?
All right, go ahead.
So like you're trying to already put me on the defensive, aren't you?
No.
It seems like it because you're calling me abrasive. I wasn't abrasive to you at all.
It came across as abrasive to me, but I'm willing to let it slide. No big deal. Go ahead.
Dude, I'm a comedian, man. It's not about abrasive. but like I also like to be very factual about things. So I mean,
Right?
what? Okay, so like let's take the medical industry, like I was talking about earlier. Why would you want to pay money to a middleman? So like say you're buying pot. You don't want to send another person to buy pot for you because they're gonna tip your they're gonna say that the bag is $50 when it's actually $40 and they're gonna scam $10 off of you, and then they're probably gonna take a little bud out of your sack.
Well, first you have to be specific as to what you can't just say you're getting middled on every medical transaction, right? You have to be a little bit more specific.
Insurance company.
Not every middleman provides no value add, right? Like, I guess you could buy your car directly from Ford Motor Company and drive out to Dearborn, Michigan and pick it up from their corporate lot there, right?
Do they offer that?
To add value by taking it to your local area, right?
Well, I'm specifically talking about insurance companies. Insurance companies do not add value. So do you believe in a single-payer healthcare system?
No, I don't.
For what reason?
I think that people should be able to choose their insurance company, right? Or how
you can't do that right now. I only have one option. I only have Blue Cross Blue Shield.
If you go onto the website, the Affordable Care website today, you're gonna
Blue
have
Cross Blue Shield is the only company in my state.
Not to mention, you can work for any number of employers who are going to offer you various options, right?
Blue Cross Blue Shield is the only one in my state.
Yeah, it's not the case in my state. It really comes down to who you work for, and if you don't work for someone that offers health insurance, or you have your own
that's
company,
another thing.
You go onto the market and you purchase it there, where you have multiple vendors to choose from.
Dude, have you ever tried to buy a insurance plan outside of your employer? By yourself or without the Obamacare? Do you know how expensive that is?
I have not had to do that personally, no.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Websites I've gone there. I think I may have briefly looked at it when the Affordable Health Care Act first came out in 2008, because I was considering going that route.
First of all,
finding another avenue.
First of all, I am completely against the Affordable Care Act. I mean, it's better than what we had before, but it's a giveaway to insurance companies. It's basically the government saying, hey, we're going to provide insurance to 26 million people, however many it was, and we're going to subsidize it.
Would be a preferable option?
Because when you do a single payer, it's cheaper, okay? When you're doing insurance, everybody being in the pool, it disperses the risk and makes it cheaper on everybody. That's why every other country that's industrialized does it and provides better outcomes than the U.S.
I don't know that that's the case. I don't think that every industrialized nation does it that way, and I'd be very surprised if that was the case. I'm sure there are a lot, and when you say industrialized, what you're really suggesting is that it's European countries which tend to be more socialist leaning than America.
And they provide better outcomes.
I'd be highly skeptical that you've actually looked into every industrialized country in the world, some of which are outside of Europe.
I would be highly skeptical that you've looked into any of this shit, dude, or thought about it for a few minutes.
I'm sorry?
I would be highly skeptical that you've actually thought about this. Or done near as much research as I have on it.
I find it curious that you're so defensive about that, personally.
I'm not defensive.
But go ahead. It's not a big deal. Go ahead.
The way insurance works is the more people in the pool, the more it disperses risk and the cheaper it is on everybody.
Except when there's only one entity doing so.
No.
Because now it really comes down to politics, not market forces. Right? If
No. Every other country provides better healthcare outcomes. The European countries and shit provide better healthcare outcomes for cheaper.
No, every country on Earth does not have better outcomes than the United States.
No. Of the industrialized countries. Do you know where we rank according to the World Health Organization for healthcare outcomes?
I'm sure it's not number 1, but I'm sure it's not number 180 either. So
it's 30 something.
Okay, 34. That's not really that bad.
I think we went up a little bit. It's like 32 now.
Okay, yeah, but 32 isn't that bad. right? And I'm
Cuba
sure
ranked
the
ahead of us
differences
just a few
between
years ago.
32 and
32 is pretty fucking bad.
Between 32 and 10 are marginal. I bet the differences are marginal.
No, it is not.
When they score it, I'm sure it's like 80 to like 82, right? So.
And you're just talking out of your ass, man. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Sure, I'll concede.
Like you're
that.
just like I blah, blah, blah, blah.
I don't have a talk show on the internet about politics, right?
Yeah. So what's the chances that I'm wrong about this and you're right then? You came in here and you admitted.
They're significant.
But you admitted that you don't really know about it. Yet you're going to come onto my show.
I said if you asked me to pull out little factoids about this or that, yeah, I'm not going to be able to because I haven't gone through and done the meticulous research that would be required to be able to have those facts on the tip of your tongue, right? Even statisticians who study this every day would be hard pressed to like answer any little factoid that you ask. You know, it's just kind of a silly way to conduct this discussion.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not just silly little factoids I'm calling you on. I'm saying that we produce worse healthcare outcomes and spend way more than any other country. I think we spend double than the next country above us.
Okay. We make more money than most countries, right? Our doctors get paid more. So.
Now that is marginal.
Are you suggesting we just ship in a bunch of doctors from some foreign country where the GDP is a quarter of what we have?
We do that right now. How many times have you gone to the doctor and it hasn't been like an Indian person?
What I'm asking, of course we pay more because we're a rich country, right? Things cost more in this country. That's just the way it is. That's one of the benefits of living in America, right? Is that
that's not a benefit.
More access to goods, you know, and there's a higher standard of living here. Are you denying that America has a higher standard of living than most countries?
We do not have a higher standard of living than the Eastern European countries. No.
Sure we do.
No, we don't.
Look at the GDP per capita. We're like number 10.
Then there's 9 countries above us.
On average, we have a higher standard of living. That's exactly what that is a measure of, right?
GDP doesn't mean higher standard of living.
Sure
dude.
It does.
We have third world poverty.
No, we don't.
In this country.
There's actually
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Poor people in America. There's no such thing as poor
bullshit.
People in America.
Doctors Without Borders has started operating almost exclusively in the U.S. now because they said that's where the need is.
Let me rephrase it. There are people in America who are poor by American standards. There are not.
Oh my God!
People in America, okay. And people who.
And you're basing this on what? That sounds like some fucking bullshit propaganda to me.
Half my family's from another country, right, where the people are very poor. So
anecdotal evidence isn't evidence of anything.
Oh well, it's not really anecdotal. All you got to do is look at half the countries on Earth who have GDPs of like less than $4,000 a year. And then think about their poor people, right? Those people, the poor people in third world countries sometimes live on less than 50 cents or $1 a day. That's not the case in America.
Okay, they also don't have the need, rent doesn't fucking cost fucking $1,500, $2,000.
Their rent is actually $0 because they
own their land and shit.
They live in shanties next to garbage dumps, and some people's existence is literally combing through garbage for things to eat every day.
People do that in America. Do you know what our homeless population is like here?
Yeah, you know, the difference is that in America, when they do it, it's often by result of their own action, not result of where they were born.
Oh, no. Poverty is not a failing. It's not a personal failing. It is built into the system.
I think you're missing what I'm saying here. I'm saying that there are people in other countries in the world, no matter how hard they try, no matter what choices they've made in their life, they have absolutely no possibility of getting ahead. They will always live next to a garbage dump and be combing through the garbage dump for things to eat every day. And there's nothing.
And that happens in America.
And there's nothing their kids can do about it, and there's nothing their unborn grandchildren can do about it. That is just the way that they are, right?
That happens right here in the U.S. That is the reality of people here in the U.S.
And the difference is that in those countries, it affects a much higher percentage of the population. Such a high percentage that in some countries it's the majority.
But
Right.
what are you basing this? You're just throwing this out like it's fact.
And to say that the poor people in America have it as bad as those people is so disingenuous that I genuinely find it distasteful.
I'm sorry you find it distasteful, but I find you to be way off. Especially here, like I live in Alabama, man. Like I can just go right down the road and see exactly what you're talking about. Shanty towns and shit.
San Jose, and there's large tent cities.
Okay. I'm just. We're gonna have to disagree on that. I mean,
no, you're just wrong.
The level of poverty is different.
The level of poverty
And to refute that, it just shows ignorance. To be honest with you,
they're both bad.
I mean, it's fine. You can be ignorant on that topic, but that's what it says to me.
I'm not though.
Both of these types of poverty and living in these conditions.
In my estimation, you are. But we can continue to a different topic if you'd like.
Well, I want to go back to health insurance because this perfectly illustrates what I'm talking about. Wench, would you take over while I pull up some statistics? Talk to him here.
I'm literally not pulling up statistics as we talk. I'm just trying to have a casual conversation with you.
I'm going to pull up statistics and show you how wrong you are. Wench, talk to him.
Well, what I was trying to say is...
You ever heard the...
Quit cutting her off, man.
If she's talking, she'll have to come in the chat because I've muted your stream. Because I'll hear echo otherwise.
So okay. That makes sense. Oh, I'm feeding your audio to her, but I'm not feeding that. Okay. Hold on. Oh shit. You still there? I fucked up there.
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. All right, you should be able to hear Wench now.
Hey, can you hear me?
Maybe not. Maybe I was wrong about that. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
You didn't leave us, did you, dude?
No, I'm still here. I'm glad to continue when you give the go-ahead.
Okay, maybe I can't have the two of you talk, unfortunately.
That's okay. Good. You go ahead.
All right.
Justin.
I didn't think that one through. I'm gonna have to switch to Linux so I can make this happen.
You know, it'll happen eventually, whether you like it or not.
Anyway, I've also noticed that there's some people in the chat that are suggesting that there's no difference in the poverty level, and I would just implore them to go ahead and look up absolute poverty rates worldwide by country. Right.
That was one of the things I was going to look up. That's something I don't know off the top of my head. But as I said, Doctors Without Borders practices primarily in the U.S. now. For that reason.
There could be a million reasons behind that, and I don't know much about that organization.
Because they say that our poverty is so astounding that they practice here, that they're in places like Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia.
That seems like a politically expedient thing to state. You know, I'm not
politically expedient. What does that mean?
I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm just saying that that would be a very left-wing thing to state during a divisive time in our culture when being left-wing is popular, right?
Being left-wing is popular? What the fuck are you smoking?
It most absolutely is. It most absolutely is. The dominant culture in this country is left-wing.
No. The dominant viewpoint in this country is center-left. Yes. And our politics don't reflect that by any stretch of the imagination. Republicans dominate.
There's been a drift over time, right? This country originally started out as a very libertarian country, and then it went
Libertarian philosophy wasn't even a thing when this country started, dude.
I mean, it was. I mean, you're right. Libertarian philosophy wasn't at the time. It was more in the flavor of like John Locke liberalism, right?
Yes. Liberal egalitarianism.
Right. Sure. But what I mean by that, if we look at it from today's lenses, right, the tools that we have available today to analyze those things, and we were to take, if someone were to found a new country today using the Constitution, that would be kind of a libertarian thing to do, right? That's what I meant by that.
No.
But really that's irrelevant to this discussion and doesn't really matter. That's not an argument I really want to have. But what I will say, the reason that we're center left today is because there's been a sway to the left over
Not today. We always have been.
In your estimation, we've always been a center left country?
Yes.
Okay. Then how would you explain?
Yeah, and as they pointed out, yeah, it's libertarian if you're white and male when the country was founded, and landowner.
Sorry, go ahead.
It was libertarian when the country was founded if you're white, male, and landowner. For everybody else, it wasn't very libertarian now, was it?
Right. Absolutely. I would concede that immediately. That's what I mean. That's what I meant by that. So I think we're on the same page there.
So you agree the country was built on white supremacy then?
Yeah, at the time. So, I mean, there's no refuting that. If you have a system of slavery, that's just is what it is, right?
Right wingers sure do try to refute it all the time.
Right. I mean,
Tom Cotton
I don't really
just gave a speech on the Senate floor.
But okay. Go ahead.
If all your critiques are coming from the right, how can you not be a right winger?
Well, I think I'm socially liberal and fiscally right wing, right? I think there's a distinction there. I really don't care what people do in their own house on their own time. I really don't care if someone wants to sit in their house and do cocaine all day. Just leave me and my family out of it. That's really my opinion on that sort of shit. Financially,
but then financially, like, you're wanting to place a burden on people. Like without the government stepping in and putting regulations on industry, then we would all be slaves to fucking Amazon. 20 years ago, we would all been slaves to Walmart.
I don't think that's really true. What do you mean by that? How would I be a slave to Amazon if they weren't regulated?
Because Amazon would be the only company, just like 20 years ago, Walmart would have took over and been the only company. We would have been the United States of Walmart without regulation.
What regulation prevented that from happening?
Because capitalism, as the capital flows to the top, it consolidates power with the oligarchy.
I'm asking you
correct?
What regulation would your premise is that Walmart and Amazon, Walmart first, but since that didn't happen, then Amazon, right? So let's just use Walmart as the example. What regulations stop them from dominating the economy and becoming this
labor regulations, dude? Labor regulations.
Labor regulations that they and every other corporation are subjected to, right?
Antitrust laws, which we haven't really enforced those in fucking years. But like, I come
what antitrust
from Eastern
action against Walmart stopped them from becoming the dominant power. The dominant.
We haven't enforced antitrust laws. We need to. Walmart should have been broke up years ago.
So then you can see that there's no regulation that stopped them from, theoretically controlling the country.
No, I don't concede that. No, there's been plenty of regulations that have stopped them.
Mainly
any regulation that you would apply to Walmart would also apply to every other corporation, right?
Yes.
Especially ones of similar size.
Yes.
So.
Well, there's not many corporations that are similar size to Walmart.
The inverse is also true. Any lack of regulation will also not affect, obviously, other corporations, right? And my point in bringing that up is that you can't say regulations stopped Walmart, so we need regulations, right? Are you following me here?
No. Okay, let me give you a better example. I'm from Eastern Kentucky. Do you know anything about the coal industry?
I mean, probably about as much as average American.
Before labor laws, my ancestors worked in what were called company towns. The company owned houses. The company owned the stores. They paid in what was called script. You couldn't use the money that you got paid from your job anywhere else except in the company store. You've heard the Tennessee Ernie Ford. No, that's the wrong one. The dude, the 16 tons. Oh, my soul to the company store. That's what he's singing about. That is what would happen absent labor regulations. They made fucking little kids go into the mines. Are you for that?
I'm familiar with the concept of company towns. I'm familiar with the song that you had mentioned. Of course, I'm not for child labor. I don't know why. I'm not saying that I want a country with absolutely zero regulations. I want a country with regulations that make sense, right? And sparingly.
I think our regulations make sense. What regulation would you point to that doesn't make sense?
I mean, there's. I don't really study the subject, so I'm not going to point you to like U.S. code, right? But I think there's a lot of environmental protections, a lot of labor protections that don't need to exist.
Whoa. Once again, I'm from Eastern Kentucky, man. If coal companies could, they would dump, they do still dump fucking coal sludge in the rivers in Eastern Kentucky.
Right, so that seems like a logical one to have, that you can't dump coal sludge into the rivers. Right, but that's
they still do because it's just a fucking fine
that affects the industry in America, right?
Well then what regulations would you talk about?
Be a minimum wage. There probably shouldn't be a minimum wage in this country.
Why not?
Because it's a negotiation between two private entities. The government really shouldn't have a place in that discussion. It doesn't affect them.
Why?
Right?
Why? Well, first of all, a corporation or a company only exists because it was chartered by the government. The government has had a hand in it from the beginning. You operate at the privilege of the government.
When you say, okay, you assume that
my LLC, a limited liability corporation, is registered with the government. You understand that, right?
I absolutely understand that.
The existence of my company is a function of the government.
Your right to engage in commerce shouldn't be predicated on this imaginary thing we call the government, right? The government exists only because we have granted it the right to exist, right? Because we deemed it valuable, right? To have a government.
If
right to engage in commerce shouldn't be predicated on that entity existing. That's ridiculous. So like what?
Everything about it is predicated on that entity existing, because how else would you have fucking money, currency, if there's not a government that issues it?
I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a government. I'm saying that your right to engage in commerce shouldn't be predicated on the government granting you the right to do so.
I'm telling you that it absolutely is, and there's no other way to go about it.
You certainly can engage in commerce and have currency without a government. You don't need a government to engage in commerce.
What you're talking about is like just you and I as neighbors fucking trading shit back and forth, but if you're going to do it in any major way, you have to have a government entity. And who's going to enforce contracts if you don't have a government?
You really wouldn't need to. I mean, I'm not saying that I want this system. I'm just playing devil's advocate. You could have an entity that mints coins and then trades those coins for products that they use, and eventually those coins would be in circulation, and that's what would be the common currency, right?
Yeah, a government.
No, it wouldn't have to be a government. Anybody who mines metals, could make coins, and those coins could be of uniform weight and serve the purpose of a currency, right?
But then
certainly you'll concede.
Okay,
that.
Where are you deriving the value of that currency from, and who enforces the contracts?
The value is inherent in the metal, right? This can't be new information to you, right? Like gold is worth something because it's scarce. Silver is worth something because it's scarce.
Well, first of all, we operate with a fiat currency anyway.
Sure.
Okay.
If you have
like it's completely imaginary.
Government. If you have a fiat currency, you certainly need a government.
You need a government for anything. Because once again, okay, so you and I enter into a contract. Who enforces that contract?
The government does. I'm not saying that. Like you don't have to enter into contracts. look, I'm not saying this is preferable to.
Yes, you do. If you want to do business, you have to enter into a contract. You enter into multiple contracts and agreements throughout your day doing business. I've entered into a couple just today running my business.
Most people enter into contracts because they find it agreeable to enter into contracts. Nobody can force you to enter into contracts, right? Every contract is mutually agreeable.
If you want to do business, you're going to have to enter into agreements and contracts with people.
No,
it's
you don't.
Literally every business. Yes, you do. It's literally every business interaction that I have.
You're not seeing the forest for the trees. That's the reality that has been set up around you, but that doesn't mean that's how humans have to exist, or that's how they. Yeah, that's not how they have to exist. That's just how they do exist today, right? for thousands and thousands of years, prior to let's say, I don't know, 2000 BC, for tens of thousands of years, people engaged in commerce without national governments.
So what you're calling commerce is just people trade, because like 2000, 2000 BC,
that's what commerce is.
We're talking about like
trading. That's what commerce is. Anytime you have an exchange of goods or services, that's engaging in commerce. Right?
Prior to modernity, we didn't have modernity. Yeah. Like I'm just not under. Okay, so in this world this fictional world that we've constructed, you and I, we want to engage in something.
It's not a reality today, but it's not a fictional world. It's a world that humans lived in. But go ahead, have lived in.
Well, go ahead. Well, I'm assuming that because disputes happened and people killed each other over like, oh, you didn't live up to the agreement that we handshaked on. We had to instigate governments in order to enforce contract law, correct?
Hold on 1 second. Hey, let me take 2 minutes. My wife is calling me. I'm going to call her back, and I'll be right back, okay?
Okay, I guess. Wench, what's your thoughts on this?
I think that a couple of points, I posted some comments in the chat. One of them kind of goes back to what you guys were talking about about poverty and healthcare, and I said all kinds of poverty are bad. Societal conditions may be different depending on the country, but the same systematic institutions exist to keep them as they are. So even if we're talking India, if we're talking America, if we're talking Africa, it's the people at the top hoarding all of the money and then having all of the power to influence political institutions to keep those systems in place. If we have a society that allows and empowers people like Jeff Bezos and George Soros and the Rothschilds or what the fuck ever to hoard all of the money, then there's always going to be extreme fucking poverty.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the money thing is concerned, I only have one comment on that. It's like the variables are infinite if you allow precious metal producers to start minting their own currency, not to mention counterfeits. Like the Federal Reserve sells us money at interest. So if we buy any type of currency from the Federal Reserve, it's at 5%, something like that interest. So whenever we just money machine goes brrr, we automatically owe money. It's already at a devalue. And
that's what a lot of people don't understand is they think that raising wages causes inflation, and that's not true. It's printing money is what devalues currency.
It just lowers the bottom line for investors, and that who are already hoarding money.
Should I go back into the chat with him?
I mean, you can, or we can move on. It's been a while.
Yeah, I don't even know like where we would go with this because like it was so absurd.
It started off at Frank Zappa and then it divulged into healthcare, which it has a tendency to do, and then the libertarian argument about labor versus company and money and property rights and stuff. And that's just kind of There's no up from there. It's, yeah.
I wish that, okay, I had this thing already set aside where I've got like facts for everything, and I haven't done healthcare and shit yet. You know, as I've been doing this show, I've been trying to like everything that I could ever need already linked to it, and I hadn't done.
I agree that there are most certainly worse humanitarian crises in other countries as far as like starving fucking poor ass people, and that's not a joke. That's absolutely correct. But what I'm saying is that it exists everywhere, and those particular conditions are forced into place by people with money.
Well, that's what capitalism is wresting power with people that have money. That's literally what capitalism means. I mean, that's a gross oversimplification. But that's giving the power in the economy to the people who have the most money. And as we've seen, that doesn't work. It results in exploitation.
Yes.
So Dave mentions about talking about like money theory and shit. I took an economics class the first time I was in college in 2002. The only thing I remember about that class was like the first day the professor walks in and is like, if your goal is to reduce drug usage, to reduce crime related to drugs, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, you should legalize all drugs. And that was like the first day of economics class. I'm like, I like economics. Legalize all drugs.
Yeah. The war on drugs is just like a way to extort money from poor people.
Absolutely it is. Alright, so we've still got let's move on from the Black Friday shit. You want to talk about COVID, or you want to skip that?
We can talk about some COVID stuff. I like have some derp family that didn't take it seriously until they went to Mexico and then came back and then got COVID, and their friends got COVID. And then they still had Thanksgiving this last Thanksgiving and mixed up a bunch of people. So I don't know. They're fucking stupid. Kill grandma.
I haven't spoken to a good portion of my family in quite some time, but I've seen some of the shit that my sister-in-law has posted. I'm like, oh god, oh god.
Like even
so I don't
Thanksgiving, when it was like the week before, and we were planning on going up north and spending Thanksgiving at my cousin's house, and this was before we found out that her husband, it was the day before we found out that her husband had come down with it after they came back from fucking Mexico. And I sent my dad a message and I was like, I'm not feeling hanging out with the Trumpy side of the family and they're no mask wearing, just came back from Mexico bullshit. I don't want to.
When did they go to Mexico?
Cancun?
About what time period did they go?
It was like 5 weeks ago now.
Wow. Because the rates had already started skyrocketing by then.
Yeah. They're stupid. But I just had that fucking bad feeling, and then the next day he was like, hey, can you tell your mom what you told me yesterday, because I think you're right, and I don't think that if I could talk her out of it without telling her she has to quarantine in a hotel for 2 weeks after she comes back, that'd be great. And then literally like 2 seconds later, he's like, never mind, it's all called off, Dennis has COVID. And we're like, oh shit.
Well, I hope nobody got incredibly sick.
They took 4 friends with them, and then 2 of them ended up in the ICU.
Oh god.
My cousin's a registered nurse in fucking county.
My sister-in-law is a nurse, and she's been saying some of the dumbest shit. She deleted me off Facebook a couple months ago.
Fucking stupid.
I think I was laughing about shit that they said.
My aunt, I was calling her Auntie QAnon for a little while because she was all... The first political argument that I ever got into her with, she reposted some Candace Owens video. And I was like, you understand that Candace Owens, like a couple of years ago, was a Democrat, and she's just grifting the right wing for a bunch of money because she's kind of useless by any other means. And she told me, you just don't like her because she's black. And I was
no way.
Pardon me?
No, I don't like her because she's a grifter.
Yeah, I don't like her because she's a grifter. No.
And she does not know shit about anything. No. So now that you brought her up, let's talk about the Harry Styles thing.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Are people still mad at him because he wore a kilt under like a net thing or something?
Thank you. They brought it up about the dresses and shit. And I'm like, that's not even a dress. Like, he had a kilt on, and then he had like leggings under some fucking skirt thing.
Lady, you'll get your fucking ass kicked. You call this thing a kilt again? You call this kilt?
Yeah, I got some Scottish friends, Scottish descendants that like would totally kick ass. Yeah, like I wasn't really familiar with Harry Styles, and I looked at the pictures of him in the dress and everything. Like, that dude's good looking. Also, like, Ben Shapiro's mouthing off about who's a man and everything, and like this dude is way manlier than Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro still can't grow hair on his face. He needs to not talk about anybody else's manliness.
Apparently, he shared out a picture of him with a turkey, and everybody was talking about how the turkey was going to be dry like his wife.
He's never gonna escape that. The memes will live on forever. People won't even know why it's funny, just to send things that are like dry and dead inside to Ben Shapiro. But
I think he does it on purpose.
He likes to be memed. Is that his kink? He's like,
no, I think he does things to get people like us to make fun of him, and it like ingratiates him to the right. And because we mock him and share his fucking videos out, look how stupid it is of him reading the lyrics to WAP. And that's part of his grift. That's how he stays relevant.
Sexually.
Because I mean, the man.
Women.
Oh, like he's Harvard educated. He has to know what he's doing.
Wet ass.
I thought I still had. Oh, here we go. I do. I've got the pictures of Harry Styles. Look at him. That dude would totally kick Ben Shapiro's ass. That dude would kick Clint Eastwood's ass.
in that outfit.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the kill. Like, fucking, he's got way bigger arms than I do. Look at those pecs. Like, he would fucking destroy Ben Shapiro.
The English forbid us to train with weapons, so we train with stones.
In a fight and both with facts and logic. Who is it? Was this dude from One Direction? Is that where he came from?
Yes, sir.
And he's a singles artist now?
Yeah.
I know he popped up. I'm a huge fan of MIA, and he popped up on an MIA song. It's like the only... Or maybe it was one of the other ones. Is there a Zach or something?
Zach,
It was one of the One Direction kids. I don't even fucking know. Is he any good? Do I need to listen to his music?
Yeah, it's pretty dope. I mean, it's okay. It's like, you know.
I mean,
It's music for normies.
Okay, like, Drake is what I would consider music for normies, and I really don't like Drake.
Shit, that's also subjective.
Well, the thing, like, I tried to, and I have found like one Drake song. I'm like, okay, this is cool, and he's been on songs that I do like by other people. And the thing about Drake though is like I'll listen to his song and then like I've forgotten it. I've forgotten the hook. I've forgotten lyrics. Like right after I listened to it, it's like it had no effect on me whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And I feel that way with a lot of pop songs.
Oh, here's a good drop. You like this one?
Does it mean you're a little girl?
Oh, fucking Seb Gorka. I need to call into his show sometime. Oh. Do you want to see this old picture of Donald Trump Jr.?
Usually. It's going to make me laugh.
From a yearbook.
I swear to God, I went to fucking school with kids like him.
My hair was never that long, but I had a similar haircut to that, so I can't laugh too much.
I can probably name 3 dudes that I went to school with in like 6th to 8th grade that all had that haircut.
Yes, Dave, I would love to call into Seb Gorka. But you need to do it like the people I've seen that have like lead him along. Like you talk as if you're a right winger, and you are excellent. By the way, is it tomorrow that you're going on that show?
I haven't gotten in any further contact from Mr. Badandi, so I'm gonna have to probably text him.
I wasn't gonna say the name because I didn't want to give it away, because you never, like, I am friends with him. You never know when he might pop on the stream or something. I still need to get up with him and find out when he's coming on this show.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, give me the lowdown. Like, what am I even going to talk to him about?
Oh God, I mean, I can't get in the weeds with him on Bible stuff because once Bible stuff starts in the I just click off, because it's all to give him a 3rd grade spelling test. You could be the one who can finally stand Madonna's a 3rd grade spelling test. Oh, you would be, if you could be hero.
We watched that video of a whale blowing up, and the only thing I could think of the whole time was him touching that dead whale. And then he kept looking at his hand like he had to get some kind of slimy shit on it or something, because he kept...
Hunchback whale.
Oh, am I gonna have to pull that up? Or are we gonna... I said we were gonna talk about COVID. I had this video of...
Oh, he can't pass the 3rd grade spelling test.
Oh, you're the only one that has it, eh? I can't just go to the internet and find it? Damn.
Oh no, the hunchback whale thing with Dan?
Yeah.
Oh, you wanted to watch that?
Ah, damn you, Dave. We watched it Operation Catterday a couple weeks ago when I was on. That's what we were talking about. Oh, that's awesome. So I get like, this was Fauci on Good Morning America on Wednesday or Tuesday. I've been meaning to play this because it was relevant for Thanksgiving. So let's hear what he's got to say about the COVID.
Well, the final message is to do what really we've been saying now for some time, is to the extent possible, keep the gatherings, the indoor gatherings, as small as you possibly can. We all know how difficult that is because this is such a beautiful traditional holiday. But by making that sacrifice, you're going to prevent people from getting infected, because we know for sure that people who are without symptoms, innocently, with no malintention at all, goes to a party or goes to a gathering, gets together indoor, you let your guard down, you obviously have to take a mask off if you're eating or drinking. Try to avoid that as much as possible. A sacrifice now could save lives and illness and make the future much brighter as we get through this. Because, George, we're going to get through this. Vaccines are right on the horizon. If we can just hang in there a bit longer and continue to do the simple mitigation things that we're talking about, all the time, the masks, the distancing, the avoiding crowds, particularly indoor. If we do those things, we're going to get through it. So that's my final plea before the holiday. What we don't want to see is yet another surge superimposed upon the surge that you just described, which we'll realize 3.5 weeks from now if we don't do these public health things.
But what do you make of this report that was...
Okay, now, have you seen the graph? I might have to find it here. Have you seen... what happened in Canada after their Thanksgiving?
No, what happened in Canada? So yeah, straight up line.
No, this isn't the right one. I might not have it anymore. Is this it? No, that's... Oh, this is going back to the healthcare argument from earlier. This is the growth of physicians and administrators. The growth of physicians has stayed pretty steady. Administrators, after 1985, just shut the fuck up. And that's what you're paying for when you do insurance. You're paying for fucking middleman administrators. You're not actually paying for doctors.
Yeah.
But I didn't have all this the data at my fingertips. I have it in a... Okay, here we go. Canadian Thanksgiving. That's where Canadian Thanksgiving happened, October 31st, and then just look at the numbers. Mm-hmm. Shoots the fuck up. And I'm assuming Canada is taking this a hell of a lot more seriously than we are.
Yeah. There was it on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving? 2 million people in the airports. It was a fucking, like, exponential fucking percent surge in air traffic.
Wow. I mean,
I would like to think that because I know that in my bubble, so many things got canceled and reduced the size of so many separate gatherings. I hope that was just like a spider effect throughout society, honestly, that maybe enough people just said, you know what, let's just not.
I'm afraid that's not what happened because you had people on Fox News. I don't have the video. We played it the other day. Just bashing like, oh, the government doesn't want us to get together for Thanksgiving. Blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. It's our tradition. All the righties. Because you know, I got a bunch of right wingers on my page. Just like, I'm having the biggest Thanksgiving gathering I can.
But, I mean, maybe they're not, and they're just saying that. Just to own the libs. You see,
I hope.
I'm fucking cynical, but I'm also kind of like optimistic. It's a weird combination. I always expect the worst, and then they'll have like this like little glimmer of hope for the best, because even if I do these things, then maybe other people who are also as cynical and disconnected do them as well.
But you're like, I hate that this is politicized, you know, because it's just like looking at data and understanding what's going on.
They're just killing each other.
If it was only
out on top because he just wore his mask, who the fuck knew?
If they were only killing each other, I would be rooting them the fuck on. If it was only MAGA rallies, if they weren't affecting other people, especially our healthcare system.
I know.
Doctors and nurses begging people to take this seriously.
I know. That's why we did. That's why we called everything off. Like, I haven't, because of the pandemic, like, my kids live up north. I haven't seen them since July.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, Christmas is the next one. I have 2 weeks off. They are, like, sequestered from all their friends. They're not letting them go out with any of their homies to hang out or nothing. They're only going to, like, parks, like, cemeteries and the fucking lake and shit like that to go hang out in by themselves. And then homeschool, you know, distance learning and all that. And then I'm picking them up and bringing them down here, and we ain't stopping nowhere. You got to pee, side of the road. We ain't go using a public restroom. No way.
There you go. That's why if you've all been taking precautions, then you're pretty safe. That's why I let Sparkles come over, because she wears an N95 mask all the time. Because she's only one of us that are in public. But God, we went to Family Dollar one night. Because first we went to the little hippie grocery store. We got all the stuff I wanted. Like, yay, everybody had masks on. We go around, we go to the Family Dollar, and I can't even remember what she was wanting to go there for. Nobody had fucking masks on, and the woman that was behind the counter had her mask around her neck, and she was like, the entire time we were in the store. I'm like, I am not going out of my house again until next spring. And I don't know if you know this about me, though. I'm a concert head. I go to concerts constantly, and I'm dying right now.
Dude, are you... you're like, half of the reason our network is so fucking cool is because we have Local Love, which is this huge music community, local music community that we've, like, collected and then just built. And all of our fucking friends that had all these gigs all the time, and the ones that own venues, and the ones that are bartenders and music producer, music buyers, and fucking Dave's a DJ. He plays Bike Party like 4 times a year, and there's 3,000 to 6,000 people that go to do Bike Party almost every event, and like that.
And you bring up another thing, venue owners. Man, we need mortgage and rent freezes. We need the government to pay people to stay the fuck home. I hate that a lot of my favorite venues are probably going to go out of business, and it sucks.
I love your point of view because it is also mine.
Getting in the echo chamber with my friends from Echoplex. All right, so the reason I wanted to play the Fauci video is because I've got this video of this family. They took all the precautions. They had a small family gathering of just relatives. And people came down with the COVID, even though they thought they were being safe. And I think that was one of the things that Fauci was referencing in that video. Now, they actually made I think this happened in El Paso.
Yeah, Texas is a rager right now, too.
Honestly. And I hate it that we talked about New York. There's nobody at Macy's, and everybody was amazed by that. But that's because they experienced it firsthand. But when that was going on in the spring, places like Texas, Alabama, where I'm at, you guys experienced it in the spring in California. We didn't. It wasn't real to people here.
Yeah.
And that really helped the whole, this virus is no big deal, yada, yada, yada. It helped further that narrative here in the middle of the country. And I think that's one of the things that has contributed to the rise.
Because it didn't affect them.
Exactly. If it's not real, if you don't know family members that are coming down with it, then hey, it's not a big deal. But they actually got this family to do a PSA, and I'm hoping it's not fucking sad. It probably is.
Hello, everyone. I'm a resident of Arlington.
Rockland vibe to it.
Well, at least it doesn't have the music under it. So, here, let's listen to what they have to say.
I would like to share with you how COVID-19 has affected my family.
2 weeks ago, I had family over at my house for some cake for my wife's birthday. I didn't think anything bad would happen.
I went to my nephew's house and loved seeing my family. But now, I'm fighting against COVID-19.
Now I'm fighting coronavirus.
We have COVID-19.
All my family had COVID-19.
In fact, everyone that went to my cousin's house that day has tested positive for coronavirus.
Now, I'm in the hospital and can't see my family.
I cannot have my wife.
Now I can't visit my mom to share a cup of coffee or talk about our day. We can't run or play with our cousins. When we took my mom to the hospital, our hearts broke. We feel guilty for gathering.
All this pain that my family's feeling, this loneliness, this sickness, this longing to be healthy, could have been prevented.
Maintain your social distance.
Use a mask that covers your nose and mouth.
Wash your hands often.
Please stay at home.
Please protect yourself. It's real.
Please don't be like my family and ignore the CDC guidelines. By staying apart, we can fight this virus together. The cure starts and ends with you.
But I mean, and it wasn't like they were doing anything extravagant. They weren't going to big gatherings or anything. It was just their immediate family they were with. And these stories are popping up all over the fucking country. But I mean, telling people to stay at home isn't going to do anything.
No.
Unless you actually give people the means to be able to stay at home.
Yeah. Because if you're like, okay, well, I'm going to stay at home, but how am I going to pay my motherfucking rent? Put some fucking food on my table.
16 Tones. I love that name. That's hilarious. I feel sorry for you. That's been my nightmares here lately. Is I'm having dreams about having to, and I don't even have to leave the house. I've only been out a few times since this all started. And when I went to go vote, I wore 2 masks. 2 surgical masks. I have a whole box of surgical masks over there. But because one of when I first I went to order some equipment with my stimmy check, and I think it was Newegg was like, "Hey, do you want this box of surgical masks?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go ahead and take this box of surgical masks."
Yes, I do. Yes.
But I wore 2 masks to the voting precinct because I tried to fucking do mail-in, but my state, the cutoff for doing mail-in was July. I asked about it in August. So I wore 2 masks, and God, one, my breath stank. So I'm smelling my breath. Oh, God. And it was kind of, because I walk everywhere, and I walked, it's about 1.5 miles to get to the polling place. I walk down to the polling place. By the time I get there, I'm like, and I put the 2 masks on, because I had one on as I'm walking, but I was dangling from my ear, because people fucking all down the sidewalk, nobody with a mask. I put my fucking mask on when I'm walking by. When I get there, I can't breathe. I'm standing oh, this is horrible. But God, the amount of people that were in there without a mask was absurd. I also went at 1 o'clock to miss the lunch rush. I figured 1 o'clock was the best time during the day to go when there would be the least amount of people. Yeah. I think I was right. And then I felt sorry for all the older poll workers that were there. All of them were old people.
Nobody cares about
I haven't checked the stories, but I'm sure there were more than a few polling places that were linked to COVID outbreaks.
Oh, for sure. People are running around in there without masks and shit, using the same pen. Yeah.
But the top economists in this country are calling for more stimulus checks. More than 125 economists are urging policymakers to provide more direct payments to America in order to keep families out of poverty and help the economy recover. And that's one of the things that I was talking about. I am amazed that the oligarchs and billionaires that run this country haven't wanted to get stimulus checks into the hands of people before Christmas.
It's Mitch McConnell doesn't want to give anybody any money.
I know Mitch McConnell doesn't. He's wanting to bankrupt the states because they want to restructure New York and California. That's all that's about.
Yep.
They've had their eyes on that for a long time. But now apparently Joe Biden is pushing for a stimulus, but wants it to be smaller than the CARES Act. And seriously, economists warn that if lawmakers must pass aid now, as a renewed coronavirus surge chills consumer spending and business activity. And that's, if we go back to the spring, those direct payments actually helped people and lifted them out of poverty. And we know this now because we've had studies that have been done that prove that the poverty rate spiked when the $600 stimulus payments expired. And that's just a plus up on the unemployment.
Right, because people, they fucking had to start deciding between food and rent and electricity and phone and internet. I mean, these kids are also distance learning from home. They need to be able to have internet.
Internet and computers. Like, I'm sure a lot of families had to go out and buy laptops and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the stimulus payments helped that. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but we are coming up on another government shutdown.
Yep, December 10th, right?
Is that the date? December 11th. So I guess the 10th is the last day for them to pass something.
Mm-hmm. Is Trump going to own another government shutdown because he ain't getting funding for blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah? Remember, like, 2 weeks before the election when he was like, I think there should be a stimulus bigger than the one in the CARES Act. Blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I'm honestly amazed that he didn't push harder for that going into the election. But also, fuck Nancy Pelosi for blocking the Mnuchin deal that they did offer Pelosi because she didn't want to hand Trump a win before the election. And that whole trying to thread the needle with Republicans and shit, like, Republicans are going to say the Democrats are obstructionists no matter what they do. They're going to say Democrats are socialists no matter what they do.
Yes.
So don't stop looking at the optics from the Republicans and just do what is needed.
We are still trying to play the decorum game. And we're playing the game, the decorum game, with a leader that doesn't know how to spell decorum. The rules are completely off the table, and we're still trying to play by rules and shit. And it's like, we need more people on the left who are like us, ruthless fucking trolls. Like, Dave needs a Democratic election consulting firm like fucking tomorrow. Watching him watch the debates between Trump and Biden was like watching a masterclass in how to not debate an old white man with a lot of money. It was amazing. And
we need to start our consulting firm then.
Dave needs a...
Hey, that's a good idea, a consulting and multimedia firm. We can totally put that together.
Echoplex Consulting.
But okay, so here's one of the things. When I went to vote, my congressman is Mo Brooks. Do you know who Mo Brooks is?
No.
He's the Republican congressman that said there's a war on white people. He's the one that said that the oceans are rising because rocks fall into the ocean.
All them rocks.
Do you know who I'm talking about now?
No, I don't. But like, is that the same like thing as if there's more fish, then it makes the water level rise?
I guess it's the same thought process there. But my congressman is Mo Brooks, and when I went to vote, he did not have an opponent. I wrote in myself. So as I'm looking at the ballot, I'm writing in myself. I'm like, you know what? I am going to make sure that he has an opponent in 2022. I'm not going to write in myself. I will be on the ballot myself if I have to. And my campaign slogan will be, Mo Brooks is a dumb fuck. And I'm dead serious. I'm going to do it. I'm going to run it as a troll campaign. I may actually get some traction on it. You know, it'll be good promotion for this show.
There we go.
But I don't know that I couldn't actually win. Because, I mean, he is legitimately a dumb fuck. I live in a city full of rocket scientists. There aren't stupid people here. So, call me Congressperson Mullins now. God damn it. I'm serious. I'm going to make a run at it for 2022.
Do it.
I absolutely will, because there's no way that I'm going to let him get away with running unopposed.
Yeah.
All right, so now I've been stretching this out here because I'm trying to get us to where Echoplex goes back on. I'm gonna raid him. He raided us to start.
I am a marathon streamer, sir.
I know. I tend to do about an hour and a half show, and that's one of the things. It's like, well, I'm not so much a streamer. I'm doing more of a traditional radio show in a streaming format.
Right.
So it's a little different.
No, not yet.
No, we're not switching back yet. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
We've still got a few videos to watch. I've got so much stuff that like just saved for some other time. I've got one called The Rise of Antifa movie. we totally need to watch that sometime. I feel like that I need to shoot that over to Dave though. So I feel like that's more up his alley. Yeah. But here is let's do this, because I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it with me or if I should have Dave on, because you seem to get really annoyed with Jordan Peterson.
Oh, that's okay. I'll tear apart Sad Kermit.
So, Penguin, Random House, staffers broke down in tears over the release of Jordan Peterson's book. I have a clip from Tucker Carlson talking about this.
Here's something you probably never read a story about, but at the same time,
He sounded kind of like Jordan Peterson there. Here's something.
changed this country in a very basic way. In the last decade, there has been a huge spike in transgender identification among teenage girls. What is this about exactly? Well, one author, a journalist called Abigail Schreier, wanted to know, so she wrote a book about what may be causing the increase in identification. The response tells you everything. Target immediately stopped selling the book after an anonymous Twitter user complained it was, quote, transphobic. Target.
I don't know what he's talking about. Have you covered this Abigail Schreier woman before?
No. Is he talking about 12 Rules for Life, though? Is it the book that he's talking about?
No, we're getting ready to talk about the Jordan Peterson book. He's referencing something else that I'd never heard of.
Oh.
This Abigail Schreier. I don't know who that is. Let's find out.
Them hoes ain't loyal. Then I fuck your bitch.
Did he actually say that?
Well, I had that same problem until my bitch went out and bought my new book, 12 Rules for Sucking a Good Dick.
Oh my God, what kind of fucking soundboard is that?
That's my Jordan Peterson deepfake soundboard.
Oh, okay.
Groceries.
I was about to say that's the most interesting thing I've ever heard Peterson say.
This one's my favorite one, though.
Them hoes ain't loyal.
Them hoes ain't loyal.
Target cave to woke activists. I love it. Woke activists. Last week by briefly pulling a book deemed transphobic by one Twitter user. I'm doubting Target pulled a book over one Twitter user.
Yeah.
Abigail Schreier, the author of Irreversible Damage to the Transgender Craze Seducing Our Daughters.
Oh, yeah. That's transphobic. I can tell just by the title.
Obviously it's trying to evoke a certain emotion from a certain set of people. Hands down.
Mm-hmm.
That is appealing to the woke scolding right there.
Yes.
It's like somebody was on, somebody called in and was in the comments talking about like, it's not okay for little children to change their gender. I'm like, that's not what happens, you know. Children take puberty blockers, which are okay.
Yeah. But
there's no like
assignment surgery.
No. They might live as the other gender or something, but that's... And I don't like, there's tomboys, there's, men that like to dress up, and I wouldn't say that there's so much of a craze. It's just that now you're not fucking...
Shaming it.
You're not shaming it. You're not as repressed anymore as a society. So, of course, we're seeing more people that are able to come out and live in the open. It's not so much that there's a craze. It's that we're not forcing people to kill themselves anymore because society doesn't consider it normal.
Right.
So Schreier added, I fully support medical transition for mature adults. My book specifically looked at a sudden and alarming spike among teenage girls, and I took a hard look at why. By teen girls, does she mean female to male?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just cited this one person on Twitter, and that's why do we keep promoting Twitter as if it's the fucking be-all, end-all of everything?
I was just gonna say the end-all, be-all of all sources. It's like, for every one person who does something on Twitter, maybe 100 people don't tell you about what they just did on Twitter and saw the book and was like called on a phone. It's an old-timey invention where you do the little boop boop boops and you dial a place and it calls them and you speak to a human or a robot in some cases on the other line.
And I'm sure, and I wouldn't doubt that this is somewhat instigated by this woman. She wanted, Dave Rubin writing a book, hey, burn this book. He wanted people to burn his book because it's good publicity. Mm-hmm. I think this woman wanted to get her book pulled from a shelf somewhere.
Mm-hmm. So she could be, look, I'm being oppressed.
Get her that sweet Tucker Carlson audience dollar. All right. Let's go back to Peterson here.
It itself tweeted this, quote, "We have removed this book from our assortment." Then a professor at UC Berkeley called...
I think this is about...
...celebrated that decision. Levy wrote, quote, "I encourage followers to steal Abigail Schreier's book and burn it on a pyre." Okay, well, that's lunacy. But here's how the ACLU responded. An attorney there wrote this, quote, "Stopping the circulation of this book and these ideas is 100% a hill I will die on." Now, after much public outcry...
Exactly! That's another thing.
...ban the book.
People act like being censored on... They say they're being censored on Twitter or being censored on Facebook. That's not censorship. Mm-hmm. You're not entitled to a space on their platform.
Mm-hmm. They're an ad company.
And I totally think that they want to act like they're being, because fucking rubes fall for it. Do you remember when there was a Pepsi commercial that had one of the Jenner kids in it, right? You don't know what I'm talking about? It was during maybe 2018, 2017. We were having some kind of racial riots, because when aren't we? But Pepsi released a commercial where she goes up to a wall of cops and hands one of them a Pepsi.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I do.
So what we found out, Kylie Jenner, yes. That's correct. I don't even know enough about them to fucking know who's who. But one of the things that we found out about that was that Pepsi did that on purpose, and that they already had their apology made up before the commercial even aired. They wanted the woke Twitter to come after them. They were doing it to evoke a response. Mm-hmm. So that they get the publicity. They're on the news all the time. They get their commercial shown without having to pay for the ad buys. And then they get the publicity of oh, hey, look at us. We apologized. And then they get to dominate the news cycle for a few days. Mm-hmm. That's another that goes back to oh, fucking, I hate capitalism.
Right.
I'm sick of being social engineered. It's not funny.
Oh, fucking Alex Jones.
For all occasions.
They probably did. Maybe if they didn't have plants, they had bots that were amplifying the message.
Yeah.
There's a really good podcast called What Really Happened, and they did an episode on this. Go listen to that. Very good.
But this kind of censorship is happening everywhere now, particularly on...
Listen to Tucky for a little bit. I gotta get some beverage.
Abigail Schreier is the author of the book Irreversible Damage, The Transgender Craze Seducing Our Daughters, and we're happy to have her on tonight. Abigail, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me on.
So let me ask you the meta question first. Why do you think the censorship of your book has been so aggressive and so unapologetic, just out in the open? What is that?
You know, woke activists have taken the position that we are never allowed to question anyone's transition, no matter their age, the circumstance, or the incredible lack of adequate medical oversight.
No, ma'am, you're taking the position that nobody's allowed to criticize you.
Yeah. And anybody's like personal shit ain't no it's none of anybody else's business. The only reason that you want to get involved in this kind of shit is because either you're stupid or you're so religious you're stupid.
Mm-hmm. So I really want to dive into the correlation between religious people and the QAnons. I mean, it's the Venn diagram is almost a complete circle. I don't know any QAnons that don't believe in God, and it seems like a lot of the people that believe in God are also at least QAnon adjacent at this point.
Yeah, because it's save the children from the Satanists and the demons.
So apparently this isn't about, the clip isn't about Jordan Peterson, so I don't know why they included that. I thought it was a clip about Jordan Peterson. So Peterson, a psychology professor from the University of Toronto and a popular podcast host. Does he have a podcast?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Couldn't be too popular. So they announced on Monday that he is releasing a new book titled Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life. Everybody knows the obvious joke here.
The lobster one or the clean your room one? Or the benzo one?
Well, I was going to go with the benzos that, like, man wrote a book called 12 Rules for Life and then got hooked on the fucking benzos, and now he's going to come back and try to tell you how to live your life.
Mm-hmm. Because he is the expert.
Okay, so let's listen to what, because I wanted to hear, like, some of the allegations here. According to the report, several employees, several in quotes, confronted management of Penguin Random House Canada, a subsidiary of Penguin Random House, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. Dozens more have filed anonymous complaints. He is an icon of hate speech and transphobia, and the fact that he's an icon of white supremacy regardless of the content of the book. I'm not proud to work for a company that publishes him, one town hall attendee, who's also a member of the LGBT community, told Vice. These people that are all about not being censored or wanting to censor criticism of themselves. Mm-hmm. Another employee alleged that people were crying in the meeting about how Jordan Peterson has affected their lives, with one explaining that Peterson had radicalized their father, and another insisting that the publishing of Peterson's book will negatively affect their non-binary friend. I don't disagree with any of that.
Yeah.
The company since June has been doing all these anti-racist and allyship things, and then publishing Peterson's book completely goes against this. It just makes all of their previous efforts seem completely performative. Listen to the podcast, What Really Happened. That's where my info came from, and but that's it's a really good podcast. You will enjoy it, I promise. Their episodes are amazing, and I highly recommend any of the episodes on any of the topics. but that's where I was getting it from. Maybe it's not confirmed that Pepsi already had the apology letter. But now, would you doubt that a company would try to manipulate people like that? Or that a marketing firm would do that?
Mm-mm.
But hey, I've just become really cynical towards any type of advertising. Okay, so the reason I wanted to bring up Peterson specifically, well, I mean, what are your thoughts, Wench? Do you think Random House is wrong for publishing the book?
I think Random House wants to make money.
Exactly. It's capitalism. Once again. So, do you think the story that has come out, because I saw way more stories about employees crying at Random House than I did stories of Jordan Peterson as publishing a book.
I mean, he's generally fucking shitty towards transgender people. I mean, his opinions of what that is and how you can fix it are
12 benzos for life.
They're harmful and fraught with misinformation for an audience that he's catering to that will have a tendency to do things to the extreme because they're afraid of such ideas, right? Because again, they're either stupid or they're so religious that they're stupid. So
yeah, it was amazing that the dude earlier didn't bring up gender studies. If we let him go on long enough, he would have, right?
something like that. So I'm inclined to think that maybe a reputable business or a publisher should, especially a publisher, I think maybe probably holds a little bit more weight to it. Should take a little bit more closer examination of the items that they're purveying to the public, especially if they do incite such a negative and harmful reaction to and from society.
Especially when there are this many clips of him being just brazenly stupid, right?
Oh, we have a whole Wednesday show full of them. I kicked them off the Sunday show. It spawned a whole other show.
All right, so here's the first one.
Making people bake a cake for a gay wedding.
Making them do it?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a very good idea.
But here's the argument. So should they be able to deny making a cake for a black couple if they don't like black people?
Allowed to? Probably. That doesn't mean it's right.
Okay, so then we had the civil rights movement where they said black people, you had to serve them in your restaurants and stuff like that. And it did work and it did make our society better. But would you argue that that still wasn't right?
No, that was right.
Why is that different to now if you didn't want to make a cake for black people?
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not different.
Yeah.
Maybe I was wrong about that.
Making people bake a...
You were totally wrong. Also, Jim Jeffries is amazing.
Oh,
if
Dave watched this whole...
Yeah, we watched this just the other day. Yes. But I was gonna plug Jim Jeffries. If you've never seen his, God, I can't remember the name of the stand-up, but where he tells the story, and it's actually the what spawned his sitcom, the story of taking his disabled friend to the whorehouse. Oh my God, it's amazing. It was probably from back in like 2008, 2009, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should go watch Jim Jeffries tell that story. Taking his disabled friend to the whorehouse.
For years, I had this thing going where people would say, oh, and this is kind of what we're getting at from a different angle. I would say they would be afraid of what we would lose if we lost religion. And I basically said, demonstrate to me any benefit.
Oh, you'd lose art and poetry and drama and narrative.
Wait.
Story.
Are there no godless artists and poets?
There are artists and poets who think they're godless.
For years,
Rightfully laughed at.
People would say, "Oh, and this is kind of what we're getting at."
This guy, how does this guy have a book deal?
So this is Fuxi and Nuwa. I think I've got that right. But I just love that representation. It's
Fuxi?
so insanely cool, this representation. So you see the sort of the primary mother and father of humanity emerging from this underlying snake-like entity with its tails tangled together. I think that's I really do believe this, although it's very complicated to explain why. I really believe that's a representation of DNA. So, and that representation, that entwined
because it's a
double
fucking
helix, that
double
is
helix
everywhere.
looking thing.
You can see it in Australian Aboriginal art, and I'm using the Australians as an example because they were isolated in Australia.
I've never seen this.
Years. They're the most archaic people that were ever discovered, and they have clear representations of these double helix structures in their art. So, and those are the two giant serpents out of which the world is made, roughly speaking.
But I mean, that's just a common.
That's just shit that he made up. That's just shit he made up. It's okay. He's making it up as he goes along. It's just he does it at a fucking university for pay to students who paid for that. Jerry Monster said one of the best things that, like, this is like the beginning of the end for Jordan Peterson on our network and onto another show. Imagine paying your tuition and going to class for the first day, and Jordan Peterson is your fucking professor.
I've watched a little bit of him in the classroom, and he's not bad when he's talking about shit he knows about. You know, clinical psychology. That's not clinical psychology, but there's a
everything else.
There is a article about the dude that helped get Peterson his job at what University of Toronto, is that where he was at?
Mm-hmm.
The dude that helped get him his job there, he's like, I was a colleague. I love Jordan Peterson. I helped get him his job. I regret it now. That article is amazing.
Oh, another question voted up. 77 votes. Australia is holding a plebiscite.
Oh, let me ask it. I don't know if Dave is still in the chat, but the picture of Jordan Peterson with like shit all behind him and his room not being clean, is that real or is that Photoshop?
I would have to run that through Jerry Monster. He's the one with the photography degree. He'll be able to tell me though.
Dave said it's real because he's seen the video, but I couldn't find the video. But I trust Dave, like he's watched hours and hours and hours of Peterson.
He's that's the other deferential expert.
But I could not find the video it was from. But do you know the picture I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Where it just looks like he's living in a fucking 24-foot trailer. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of looks like this room, but there's a fucking
table,
vanity
like
or
a
something
toad on it, with a bunch of shit out of it, and then like, it looks like he's living like Breaking Bad style.
Was he tenured? I don't even think he's a professor there anymore, is he?
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, this is way more lucrative to do this shit. I don't think he was tenured. I think he was an adjunct, but I also don't know, and I don't know how the Canadian system works. If it's similar to ours in terms of tenure. He should have been fired though. I don't think he was. I think he just left.
On whether to legalize gay marriage. I'm against the Yes campaign, but only because it's backed by cultural Marxists. I'm curious to hear your views on gay marriage.
I'm curious for one of these motherfuckers to define what cultural Marxism even means. Can you take a stab at what they're even talking about when they say cultural Marxism? Because I have no fucking clue.
Communism.
That's all?
Yeah.
But that's the economic system. They just don't fucking know, do they?
They don't know the difference between communism and socialism. It's all
well, they think it's all authoritarianism.
with varying degrees of taking your money and giving people that don't work shit for free.
I just like, I wish people wouldn't use words that they don't fucking know what they mean. A lot of right-wingers like to say logic. I'm like, logic is a specific set of rules.
Right.
You don't know those rules. You violate them all the fucking time.
Right, but you gotta sound smart, so you gotta use the words.
You just say you destroy people with facts and logic, and you're like, oh!
Yeah, exactly. That's like fair and balanced, right?
So Wikipedia says University of Toronto from 1998 to present. Yeah, the reference, 2017 is when he blew up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because it was, there's a video of him with some students, and he's talking about like how he won't use their pronouns. And then that's what blew up on the in the right-wing sphere.
Right.
Well, I would be against it too if it was backed by cultural Marxists, because it isn't clear to me that it will satisfy the ever-increasing, what would you call it, demand for an assault on traditional modes of being. So, another question.
Gay bomb.
What? He's against gay marriage. So he's against gay marriage, not on any sort of substance, just because people he doesn't like are for it.
Cultural Marxism.
I know he most certainly hasn't taught in the last couple of semesters because he's been fucking brain dead somewhere. Also, like, who goes through this very public battle with benzos and is like, I'm gonna write another book? Other than somebody that just needs money.
A lot of money.
Great minds, great minds.
Mm-hmm.
So same-sex adoption.
In a long-term relationship, we are considering kids. What are your thoughts about gay people raising children? I think the devil's in the details, to tell you the truth. If I was ever talking to any individuals about that, the question is, well, how would you raise them? I mean, you have problems, right? If you're both of...
Wait a minute, wait. So he's got to talk to the individuals about adopting kids. But when it comes to gay marriage, it's like, oh, the cultural Marxisms are on that side, so I'm against it.
Right. But what he's going to say here, because we covered this clip on the show when it happened, right? So what he's going to say here is, if you don't have a mother and a father, then you miss out on half of raising a child. So 2 men raising a child is only half of a parental structure.
I would reply back to that we used to be a very, community-based species up until about 100 years ago, 120, 30 years ago, something like that. Ironically, with the Industrial Revolution and the furtherment of this capitalist society that we live in, and child rearing used to be like a community thing, and you were never without a male and a female figure in your life because... Go on.
I would even argue is to say that type of raising families and children continues on to this day in southern states and like Southern Baptist families and stuff like that, where my family's from in Missouri, because that family, when they transferred over and moved over to California, still had very large families, but all of the kids were always either with all the aunties or, with the uncles or whatever, just all fucking mixed the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. That's the way we're supposed, but that's communism though, isn't it? Community.
It's communism, because communal.
All right, so I want to, we're done with fucking Carmen here, unless this is, do you want to hear the Chads one?
Oh,
with him on Joe Rogan? Okay, we'll do this.
What happens is that a small minority of men have all the sexual opportunity. A fairly large minority of men don't. The women are unhappy because they can't find a committed relationship. It's bad for most of the men. And the men who have all the sexual opportunity get cynical.
But isn't this in some ways against your whole idea of equality of outcome, because you're talking about equality of sexual outcome now. If these men, if you have a guy like a LeBron James that's a dominant basketball player that just kicks everyone's ass, this is a guy who succeeded at the highest level, right? Well, there's going to be people like that sexually. There's going to be people that are better at finding mates, and this is what they enjoy.
It's actually what does happen.
But what is wrong with that?
Well, what's wrong with it is that it destabilizes society and it's bad for children.
Right, you said that.
Yeah, but that's
what if they don't want to
it.
have children? But there's a lot of people that don't want to have children. There's a lot of people that choose.
Doesn't wealth inequality destabilize society? And if you're making that argument in that way, wouldn't you apply that to the wealth distribution?
Use the pussy like currency.
I'm hit or miss with Joe Rogan. Like, I really enjoy him.
Falling out.
God damn.
Choose to go their entire life without having children. There's men in their 30s. Some of my friends have vasectomies. They don't want children. So why would that help in any way, these involuntary celibates?
Well, I think you tilt the society so that it serves the interests of, well, that's a good question.
That moment when he says, I think you tilt society so it serves the
Oh, Sam!
Oh no, I see.
To each their need, right? Or whatever it is.
To each from their...
So Sam and Michael made that exact point, didn't they? Hell yeah.
Yep, of course he did. Smart man.
Rest in power, Michael. God damn, I miss that motherfucker. All right, so I had a dude come to my channel, and I can't remember exactly. Shit channel, no followers. So I looked, and he actually has a channel himself. And he has 95 subscribers. So he came to my channel with 6,000 subscribers, 4.5 million views, and said, shit channel, no followers.
He's shadow banned, sir.
So I went to his channel and watched one of his uploads. So this is how we're gonna do the end here. We're probably gonna have to skip ahead. This kind of bullshit is not going to interest us. Also, just so everybody knows, we are on Will Weld for Food. That's the name of the channel. Will Weld for Food.
Okay, metal worker.
So, hold on. Let me see if I can get the comment on my channel here real fast. Because I think I know the video it was on. I think it was on this one. Yeah, garbage channel with 0 views is what he said.
To be fair, we get that comment too, but really nobody watches our YouTube channel, so it hurts because it's true.
I've tried to promote your guys' YouTube channel. You're more prominent on Twitch than you are YouTube. I'm the opposite. I'm more prominent on YouTube.
The most prominent on Facebook, but since we share articles that are rife with misinformation and we're laughing at it and we dare laugh at misinformation, our post reach is like 20.
Garbage channel with 0 views. So I go to his channel. His video has 27 views. I think the video he was commenting on had more views. But it was one that I hadn't shared out on Parler. So it didn't have 70, 80, 100.
All right, here's the Router Jig Pro from 5D Tactical. And this is actually really, really well made. When you buy it, it's about almost a ½ inch thick aluminum, and then there's these guide plates that are attached to either side. A mount where you can attach your AR where the trigger's supposed to be, and not bad. Really clean milling job for doing it myself. As you can see, there's...
What do you think about that milling job?
No cereals.
Wench?
Anywhere.
No serial. So is
No
he just
toaster.
saying that he milled all the serial numbers off of this piece of
Lower that I
firearm?
completed, I had no problems with it. Everything came in nicely, except the holes on the bottom here for the trigger guard have to be drilled out a little bit. And
So I'm assuming he's building his own AR?
the hole for the detent spring to keep this pin.
I mean, mad props.
That also didn't go in, so I'm going to have to drill that hole out as well. But the important thing is that...
But I mean, if you're just... Man, he's really obsessed with the welding, isn't he?
it's serviceable. So also give you a little peek at the inside. The kit that I added to this lower was from Palmetto State Armory.
Okay, first of all, has he blinked?
You know what? I haven't been paying attention. I've been kind of like thinking about this whole thing is like, is this part of a manifesto before we see a mass shooting somewhere? Or maybe is he like trying to modify this weapon so it holds a like one of those 100-round drums? Which also leads me to, is this a part of a manifesto video where before we see a mass shooting somewhere?
I think he's building it himself, which I give props to that. You know, that's cool. I'm a tinkerer as well. I've got my workbench right over there. Let's go ahead and we'll hop ahead here.
Really nice. Can't wait to take this out and test fire it.
AR pistol, test 1. I'm shooting Walmart ammunition, American Eagle.
You shouldn't shop at Walmart, bro.
Easy.
Support local gun stores, you asshole.
Bullets are expensive. Shut the fuck up.
First mag.
Look at how proud he is.
Pistol. With a brand new lower. Yeah, that's loud. Holy shit.
I bet, dude, it's a gun.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but my garbage channel is more entertaining than this.
Success.
Right. I mean, you replace parts on your weapon with lighter materials. It's going to reduce noise reduction overall, which is why your gun is going to be louder.
Wait, why did he get in and then get back out?
So he could show how fast he could jump in and out of a car and then fully fire down a 30-round mag.
A tactical maneuver. Who's he? What tactical? He's out in the middle of the desert, isn't he?
I mean, to be fair, I lived in Arizona for 2 years. I lived in Phoenix, and I bought, from a Jeep Liberty. My 2A. But I bought my first heavy-duty guns in Arizona. I bought a AK-47 and I bought a 40 cal handgun, and we used to take that shit out to the desert and shoot propane tanks and bowling balls and shit. It was hella fun.
Yeah, I like shooting shit.
In the hip, that shit's fun.
But the eyes, that's what's fucking with me. Because like you said, like, is this the beginning of a manifesto? Like, I watched the dude in New Zealand. I watched that whole fucking video. I wish I hadn't. That scarred me for life. But just, I was very interested as he's driving down the road, and just everything was a meme. Everything was some right-wing QAnon style. I don't even know if it was really QAnon at the time when the Christchurch shooting happened. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it was that sort of thing that was bubbling under the surface of the internet, and like seeing all the different references to these memes, it was just chilling to me. All right, you want to see if I got something fun before we head out?
Yeah, what you got?
I've got a dog. You like doggies?
Dog video. Oh no.
Oh god, this is a really fucking spammy site.
İndirdiler. Ve Kerim'i bir
So this is a performance artist out on the street.
Sonra belki 10 gün, belki 15 gün. Kanlılar, mekkari arabaları, sonra gitgide daralan.
I'm not exactly sure what country this is. But here comes the puppy. Dude is playing dead. Puppy comes over to comfort him. Oh, baby, you're ruining. Oh, you're ruining the performance.
I thought it was gonna pee on him.
No, he thought he was dying or hurt, and he was wanting to comfort him. Cause dogs are so fucking awesome.
Humans don't deserve dogs.
No, they don't. And I like people are like, oh, I didn't know you liked dogs. I thought you were. I hate that we use like cop dogs, bomb sniffing dogs, and shit like that. Oh, that pisses me off so bad.
I hate all that as well, but like pugs,
Oh, breeding and shit.
bulldogs.
Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms.
It really.
Yeah, we do not deserve dogs.
Just look what humans have done to dogs.
You are correct. All right, Media Wench, it has been a pleasure having you on the show. We finally got to do this.
Thank you.
Awesome.
For
Now,
having me on.
anytime, you know, you're welcome. I know you're always creeping in the chat.
Peeking out from the bushes.
So we're going to go ahead, anybody that is on Twitch, I'm going to send you back over to Echoplex Media, which is where you can find the Media Wench on most nights. And you plug your makeup show on Mondays.
Oh, Makeup Monday. We do that at 8 o'clock on Echoplex Media on twitch.tv. And you come and watch the crazy Avon lady, former America's Next Top Model, Season 1 winner Adrienne Curry, Derp and Potato on. She's probably going to have a great story about how awesome her Thanksgiving was and how Hunter Biden likes to smoke crack and fuck little kids. And skincare.
And skincare. So she does all together. That's fantastic. All right. Thank you for coming on. Thank you guys for joining me. Go ahead. Light one up. Tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We will see you Monday night on the Troll Patrol. Live.